On the Block with Jen. Tonight is Friday night. It is the last Freaky Friday of 2022. So I'm hoping a lot of people come up and, you know what I mean, get it out their system, get that freaky out their system. This is a safe space. We all share here. We mostly share our personal experiences. So these are real stories. And speaking of real stories, we're going to have a guest later on, an author, okay, Shakira Ruiz. She wrote Pay for Play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a story about, okay, a dominatrix. Now, I don't know, the book says based on true events. So is she the person she's writing about in the book? Yo no sé. We'll find out when she comes through. She's actually going on a little press tour right now on social media. So she said she would stop by. So we will welcome her with open arms and find out exactly what that book is about. But tonight's topic is, you're going to like it. And all the freaks are going to check in. I know they are. I know they are. Tonight's topic is rough sex. Not to be confused with BDSM, by the way. Because my BDSM folks, they'll have a lot to say about it. So welcome to On the Block with Jen. I'm your favorite bad girl, Jen. Are you feeling the Harley? Are you feeling the Harley? I'm feeling the Harley. Don't forget, I am On the Block with Jen on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, On the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to collab with me, or you have a topic, or you have some collaboration or an interview you want to do, hit me On the Block with Jen at Gmail. Okay, there's a lot of business that goes into that Gmail, so I may not see your email, so make sure you make it noticeable, okay, and make sure that it's business. All right, I don't mess around too much in there. Doesn't mean I'm gonna grab your topic, because I get a lot of topics. I usually like picking topics that I feel would be good for my audience and my chat and my panel. Okay, so if you're in there and you're like, she hasn't answered me, one, maybe I haven't seen it, or two, maybe I did see it and I just replied mentally and didn't reply, actually manually, because I got a lot going on. But I do appreciate it. That is what the Gmail is definitely for. Please jump in there, send me topics, something that you want to hear us talk about on the panel. You can support the show, of course, with a Cash App, On the Block with Jen. It is scrolling on the bottom right there, that ticker. I am also On the Block with Jen, a Cash App, or you could throw me a super chat. The super chat is a little $sign on the bottom right of the chat box. If you don't know where it is, believe it or not, a lot of people still don't know where the super chats are. I still have people learning about the super chat, right? So we got to be nice to them, right? All right, guys. So tonight's topic, rough sex. Rough sex. I am going to drop the link right now and get my people up here. So this is a topic for tonight. Rough sex. Okay. And you might recognize the girl in the picture. No, not me. Not me in the red gloves. But that is the singer FKA Twigs. And that still is from her music video, Papi Pacify. Papi Pacify. One of my favorite songs of hers is 2 Weeks. Look that up. If that ain't some fuck music, ooh, I don't know what is. All right. She even cursing in there the way I do. So later on, the author we're going to have, this is her book, Pay for Play Dungeons and Dragons. Her name is Shakira Ruiz, and she'll be stopping by to discuss her book, which should be interesting, seeing as we're talking about rough sex tonight. So let me drop this. What? Veganista, you coming up? Stop the press. Stop. Let me drop this link. Are you coming up with your face? Are we getting the whole face? Because you know I don't do boxes no more, especially for my ladies. Men have to see these gorgeous faces, okay? One thing On the Block with Jen does have is some good-looking people, honey. Okay, we got some good-looking people from all walks of life. This ain't like every other panel on YouTube. This ain't like every other panel. All right, guys, I dropped the link. Any of my ladies want to come up? Look, Veganista's talking about just kidding. Veganista, you want to come up and hide behind your avatar? I give you a pass for today, seeing it would be your first time coming up. I would give you a pass for the avatar. So I dropped the link. I like doing a little research about the topics that we talk about, right? I don't like just being up here talking heads, although talking heads are good too if we're talking about our personal experiences and things that really happen, right? Like the Pay for Play Dungeons and Dragons book, the claim is based on true events, right? So maybe it was her personal experience. I don't know, but I'm going to ask people. I'm going to ask mi gente when she comes through. I was supposed to read an excerpt today, but I didn't have the time. On Amazon, how they give you like a little bit of the first chapter and the second chapter. I was supposed to read that. I did not. I am so pissed because I was trying to play music for y'all in the beginning, but it didn't work. But that is okay. Yes, honey. Hi, Lily.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Ah,
How are you, doll?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I just came from running around town and
I know you told me you and the bestie. What did you guys do? Thank you, Jabari. It is not too late to tell me happy birthday. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The next 30 days you're gonna be
There you go. I'm taking my 30.
Boom.
So what you do? What you do with the bestie?
Nothing special. Nothing really special. You'll actually be like really disappointed because it's just like, but I mean, because we are a whole mood. We don't really need anything specific. Like we just have to show up to the scene and we're gonna make the scene, right? So I went to go cop some crack for my cat because she's a crackhead.
Now, what do you really mean? What does she really eat?
It's this like grass. She doesn't like catnip. She doesn't like catnip like most cats like catnip, but there's this grass, this fresh grass that she lives for. It's like crack. And it's like only one store that I know of that sells it. So we went down there, went to one of my favorite ramen places in Chelsea. They have the best ramen. So when you come back home, I gotta take you there.
And I'll be back home. I'll be back home sooner or later. I'm gonna let you know too.
Please do, because we're gonna cut up.
Yes, I'll be back home. I may have some business out there very, very soon. What is catnip anyway? I've always wondered what catnip was. I used to see it in the cartoons and I didn't get it. Is it an actual food?
It's like a drug. It's like weed.
Really?
Yeah, it's like weed for cats. Yeah. And they go crazy for it. Like you would mostly think it's crack because the cats that like it, they go nuts. Like I had it was one time in my life, because I've had animals my whole life. I'm an animal person. Like my alternate life would be on a ranch in Montana surrounded by animals.
Okay.
Yeah, totally different. Totally different from where I'm living now.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I had two cats and both of them liked it, but one of them liked it a lot. So he was like territorial. He will fight the other one like, Miss Girl, you're not getting this until I'm done.
Right.
Till I'm done getting high. Total crackhead move.
I always wondered what it was. I was like, what the hell is cat?
Oh, you gotta see them. You gotta just see them when
I just YouTube it because everything's on YouTube.
Yeah,
just put in cat and catnip and it'll pop up.
It's a million because yeah, exactly. That's what made YouTube. I think was cat videos. Like that's what kind of really made. Yeah, that's what made, because cat videos are like the most searched videos, and
interesting.
They're extremely addicting. You wouldn't believe how, like, you just go watch one and you'd be like, really? Why am I on my 15th cat video? Like, are you serious? Because my friend, he always sends me stuff for like TT. He's like, oh, he'll send me a cat video like she made like this or whatever. And then I'll go to look at that, and the next I'm scrolling and scrolling. It's just cat. I'm like, what am I doing? Like,
I was watching something really weird that was super interesting. I was like, why am I watching this? It was a guy that bought a lobster from the supermarket, like the ones that you cook. And when he first bought it, it wasn't even moving, right? They're alive, but they're not moving. They got the rubber bands around their claws. And he nursed it back to being like a regular lively lobster, bought it a huge tank. Like he treated it like a pet, and the thing was running around and alive and thriving. It was very interesting. Something I never thought I'd be stuck watching. I was like, why am I
Right.
watching supermarket lobster? But it was so interesting to see the way like it was kind of like doomed, like it knew it was in bondage and dying. And he took the little lobster and set him up in the house, and the lobster was running around. And like every month he posts like the progress, and even like when they what you call they grow out of their shell. He took the little rubber bands off, and it was making a own little home, like being a lobster, like a lobster in the sea. It very interesting. I was
right.
like,
Because I'm like, I don't even think like what a lobster in the sea lives like. Like, what's your daily life like? A day in the life of a lobster.
right.
Like,
That's
who
what it
thinks
is.
of that?
That is literally what it is. Like the lobster has his own schedule of when he eats, when he uses the bathroom. He was very territorial. Like I was shocked. I was like, okay, all right.
Wow.
I'm still gonna eat lobster, but
Oh no, I'm gonna eat it too. But I think I might go try to find that video. But I do like stuff like that though. Like I like Animal Planet type stuff. I'm a total nerd. Like my TV. I hate when people ask me what I like to watch because it's so embarrassing. It's so nerdy. It's so not fun to anybody else but me. So it's just like, oh, I don't really watch TV. That's what I just say, just to go ahead and.
yeah, I think I watched the same thing. I watched the same thing.
Okay, so you like nerdy? Like I like science stuff. I'm into the whole, but this is a rabbit hole that sometimes I gotta pull myself out of. But the AI stuff.
Oh, okay. I have a very morbid curiosity, and a lot of people say that, but I have a real one. Like I watch autopsies.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I watch there's this woman Ask a Mortician. Her show is so good. Um
Okay.
yeah, she visits this other mortician, and it makes you look at death differently, and it makes you look at what you want to do after death differently. Because
Well, I
they
watched a whole show on death. Yeah,
oh
I'm not scared of death. So
okay, good.
yeah, I don't look at it like other people. I look at it as a part of life, and just
Right.
yeah. So I
Not talk about it. I'm like, that's where you're going. Never mind. Okay, I digress.
right.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
that's
much, Jabari Bryant, for my birthday smoothie. I appreciate you, sir. So, Lily, the topics tonight: rough sex. SECKS. Rough sex.
So where do we start?
Well, I pulled up some stuff.
Okay, pull up. Let's get to the business. Let's get to business. Rough sex.
I like what is the world thinking about rough sex, right?
Right. What are they talking about? What the good people saying?
Right. I like to pull up these little polls or whatever. This was interesting for all the people that are going to come up on the panel tonight and pretend they're not freaks, okay? It says 80% of those with a current sexual or romantic partner engaged in rough sex with them, and most who engaged in it liked it. 80%. That's a lot of people. So there's a lot of people walking around acting they're not, like they're not with the shits. And apparently they with the shits because the end of that statistic said, and they liked it.
And they liked it.
And they liked it. So what is rough sex, right? According to the internet, it's basically hair pulling, spanking, choking, slapping, punching. It even says punch. Not that one. Okay, so I'll repeat because I see some people just fell into the room. Okay. Rough sex. If you let Google tell you, right?
Okay.
Everybody has their own definition, and everybody's welcome up today. This is the last Freaky Friday of the year, so come on up. Give us all them freak stories. We will share ours as well. I'll give you my experience with a rough sex night. It didn't turn out like it does in movies. Okay?
I'm so scared of what's gonna come out of my mouth tonight. I'm like,
okay. But I'll let you know what my experience was. I did have a mishap during a rough sex session. It was not good, but I'll tell you what it was. Okay, so if you ask the internet, 80% of people engaged in rough sex and liked it. And rough sex is hair pulling, slapping, spanking, choking, and they even have down punching. Punching. Now that I've never engaged in, but I have done the slapping, choking, pulling hair, what have you, right? When we think of the word rough, we just think rough, right? But there's a difference between rough sex and BDSM. And I'm sure if I get my BDSM people up here, they'd be like, wait a minute. It's two different things. So let's just for respect's sake, for all our sexy people, let's differentiate. So if you let the internet tell you, BDSM is a variety of erotic practices, role playing, bondage, discipline, dominance, and submission, and also sadomasochism. I think that's more on the subject of our guest that's coming up later with her book, right?
Yeah.
That's what her book is about. So we'll be talking about a little both tonight. We're going to stay on rough sex for now, right? Baby steps with all the people that act innocent, baby steps. In about 2 hours, we'll have them licking each other, I'm sure.
Right.
But everybody has to warm up. So, we have another guest. Hello, Brother Ish.
Peace.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little shocked and appalled that you're talking about rough sex with animals. I don't understand.
What?
What stream were you on?
Right.
Oh, rough.
Stream,
Like
sir.
rough. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, you gotta go out and come back in with that corniness. Rough sex. Okay, so yes, that is what we're talking about. Haran said, yes, punching. White women tend to be into that. Well, school us, honey.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, maybe it's for like our unmelanated population.
Okay, so that's some white people. Well, maybe no saint will pull up later and confirm or deny.
Right.
Or maybe Glenn or whoever.
Right, because they speak for the community.
Right. Yeah, whether the community likes it or not. Those
they
are
have to.
Native white folk. That's
right.
that. They're resident white folk, and they're going to speak for the community.
They're responsible. They have privilege, so they're responsible.
Right.
Exactly.
And we have Miss Polly looking gorgeous, huh?
Yes.
I love it. Last Freaky Friday of the year. My girls are representing. We can't hear you, Mama.
I feel like I overdressed.
You did not.
I done got the whole thing. I got the whole thing.
Oh,
what are we doing? What? Welcome to on the.
Oh yeah, go back.
Okay.
Back up. Yeah.
You got the whole thing. You got the whole thing. Y'all just.
That is sexy as fuck.
Oh no, hold on now.
We're not about to say that. We are not.
Yeah,
I'm underdressed. Woo! Wait a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ooh! I love it. I'm gonna let my girls represent tonight because I have on pajama bottoms. I'm giving you waist stuff, okay? I'm giving you waist stuff. That's all you get tonight from me. I'm gonna let the girls represent. Thank you, ladies. I love it. And you're not overdressed, okay? This is the last Freaky Friday of the year. So this is how we're going out, okay? Last Freaky Friday of the year. Okay, Miss Polly, did you hear anything I said about the difference between rough sex and BDSM? Because we're talking rough sex tonight. Okay, so rough sex.
No.
Okay, rough sex is basically slapping, pulling hair, choking, and it even said punching. But we were like, oh, okay, punching. Now, I've never experienced that. Lily said it's a hard no. Haran said it's a white girl thing. I don't know. I've never been offered to get punched. I've never punched anybody. I was never compelled, not even mid-orgasm, to punch a man. But, people, hey, we are open tonight. If you like it, I love it. If it bakes your cookie, let's hear it. BDSM is more complicated. If you let the internet tell you, it's an erotic practice or role playing involving bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, and sadomasochism. So those are two different things, regarding BDSM. We have a guest coming up later who wrote a book called Pay for Play, Dungeons and Dragons. And she said it's based on true events. Now, I don't know if the author is actually the person in the book, but we will find out tonight. So rough sex, ladies, let's jump right into it. Has anyone tried to punch you?
They better not.
No.
We're not getting punched.
I will yell hate crime. Just that simple. I'm just gonna take it there. You're not gonna just not gonna do it. She's not helping it. No.
Okay.
No.
Cedric Kelly said, who wants to get punched while having sex? Well, listen, I'm reading the statistics. I'm reading the people that engage, and they wrote punching. So someone is getting punched. Not I, but maybe they are.
How I'm picturing them do this survey, I'm picturing them getting these people really, really drunk. You know? Or maybe like they went into like a sex party or something and they were really, really drunk. And then they asked these questions and like people got lucid. Because 80%, I'm surprised that 80% admit it, but 80%. I'm not surprised at the number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It said 80% of people tried rough sex and liked it. 80% is a lot of people that are roughing each other up during sex, which goes to show that the majority of population, okay, is into spicy. Although there are a lot of people that run around, you know what I mean, covered up to here and holier than thou and not I. 80% is a lot of people. Okay. So I'm going to get into some other stuff. How about cutting and spitting?
Okay, so cutting is just a crazy hard no. But when I started seeing the whole spitting thing become more and more popular in porn, I was like, where did we get this from? Who told y'all this was okay? What did they do this survey yet? Because
we're safe tonight, Lily. Everything is okay tonight. This is the last Freaky Friday.
Right. No. It's okay. I'm just saying. For me. For Lily. Just saying.
Okay, so you're not spitting or getting spat on.
No, and I honestly don't I don't even like seeing it. I don't like seeing it at all. You know, there's certain, because you know, one thing about me is I am open to anyone else's sexual stuff when it's consenting adults, you know. But for me, I know what my no's are. Then there's some things that I'm like, because I've got, you know, I feel like every year I'm like thinking like, that's interesting. Maybe going to the maybe list. But the spitting and the cutting are not in the maybe list for me. I would be interested in, but I'm always interested in knowing the psychology behind it because that's just how my mind works. Like, even if I don't want to do it, I just want to know, what do you get out of
it? I'll share because I had a spitting session. I will share.
Yes, please help me because I don't understand.
Yeah, we sharing tonight.
Right.
Brother Ish.
Oh, hold on. Let me shut up. On the face. The face.
Yes.
You can spit on body parts. Like, you can spit.
Okay, so you're like, don't spit on my face, but you could spit on body parts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When I started seeing the spitting in the face, that's when I was like, okay, you lost me. But the body parts, no, that's, I felt like that's normal. Like, I don't know.
Wait, I have a question. What you see them, they're swapping spit.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Yeah, like the face part, the mouth part is what.
What do you mean swap and spit? Let's be clear for the people. What do you mean?
They take their spit, they spit your mouth.
And then
I don't know if that's not right. I mean, I just know that, but you know, I can understand there's fluids happening all the time, so I can understand cross contamination, but purposefully hawking a loogie into someone's mouth. No, sir.
Okay, well, that sounds horrible. Like hawking yeah, that sounds horrible. Let's pass it to the only man who's up here tonight. I'm gonna drop the link again, okay? Fellas, y'all can come up. Don't get scared now. Ladies, y'all can come up. I would love to see faces though. Brother Ish, since you are speaking for the man's name, I said slapping, pulling hair, choking, and punching. What are you down for? Have you experienced that? Did someone try it on you and you dug it, or someone tried it on you and you was like, time out?
No. Let me step in the other room for the little ears that are in the space. Uh,
Tiny little ears.
um, no.
Well, I'm telling myself tonight. I feel like the freak of here.
Oh no, Jen, don't feel like that. Listen.
Well, look, let me start here. I have not punched. I have done hair pulling. I have done choking, and I did choking wrong one day. Like I thought, because I'm very much a romantic, Big Prince fan, looking at love in a whole different manner. So that aggression in that level wasn't really my thing. And
yes, we know you ask permission before you penetrate and skeet and stuff. May I, ma'am? I know.
Whatever. No, I don't. Sorry. Just hate
May
it.
I sweat, ma'am?
Wait, excuse me. Of all people who know me, we're not gonna have that conversation.
Continue.
Okay, thank you. But I choked her, like literally was like asphyxiation. Like I was closing the air out of her lungs, like choking her by her throat. And she was like, "No, I didn't mean like, no, don't choke me like this. Like, put your hands around my neck and manhandle me, but don't like literally choke me and I can't breathe." Like she was like, "Mama, I can't breathe." Like,
okay, so
that was my funny moment.
The slapping and the hair pulling.
I have post-traumatic slave syndrome. I don't want, I just having flashbacks of slavery. You're slapping me.
Slapping you. I don't know women who slap asses.
But I think that. So, I think that some aspect of it is a dynamic of male hate. In a subconscious kind of approach, some of those actions are things that you want to do to your partner out of frustrations, but you can't. So now you express it in this playing field of aggression and intimacy.
I want you to look at all the faces of the ladies as you continue speaking.
And you're getting away with it. Like it's like,
what if it's a perfect stranger?
Well, I mean, again, then like I mean, that's just my subconscious mind. Like I see a lot of stuff in like some of the porn. I'm like, you hate this woman. You hate women subtly, and you're doing your get back, and that's your level of masculinity and aggression, and you're doing like the gagging dynamic during oral gratification.
Oh, that's the thing. Haran likes to stuff a dick down a windpipe. I remember that was his thing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not getting anything physically different. It doesn't, there's no extra tingle that happens in that moment. So what are you saying psychologically in the act? What are you trying to do? You're inflicting some sort of guttural reaction. So there's an aspect of it that I look at.
Okay, you mean specifically the dick down the throat act. You're talking about that specifically.
That specific act.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to speak for Haran. He has to speak for himself.
Yeah, right. So your dick's not going to feel any. You're not getting an extra jolt of sensation when you're doing that.
That's good information, because I always thought that men liked doing that because the throat felt different than
it's an ego gratification moment. It's all ego.
That's interesting.
What about
Go ahead, Lily.
What about what about the person who's getting the dick down their throat? What if they enjoy it?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been on that end of the turntable. So
Like
I
seriously,
don't know.
like what does that mean about that person? Like
Right. See?
psychologically, because it has to psychologically go both ways. If that's the case, because we're not dismissing that that's not the case. We're not going to dismiss it. It's just on the table. So then if we're going with that theory, then we will have to look at the other side as well and see how that balances.
But then that's also that's a dominance and submissive dynamic. So there's a you're
True.
you're extending you're inflicting or you're allowing to be inflicted upon you a discomforting in your efforts to please, and you're going with your efforts to please to as far as you can go. But now historically, it's all centered around a porn film, Deep Throat, and that play kind of evolved from just the title alone. But
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that everyone that likes a good deep throat, whether they're receiving or giving, it all stems from a porn movie from way back when? Is that what you're saying?
well, yeah, a porn movie in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you.
I forgot the lady's name, but the porn film, it was in the 70s, like in the early.
We can agree to disagree, because I am of the belief that since human beings have walked the planet, orifices have been filled with everything that you can imagine, and sex has always been taken to a different level. There's fisting, there's footing, there's a lot of things that go on. So I can't say that, I can't agree that it was one porn movie in the 70s and then all of a sudden everybody wanted to
let me say this. Popular.
Not saying that it didn't give people ideas, because porn gives people ideas. I'm just saying I don't think that's what the explosion of people have been doing wild things way before we were even.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. I mean, we can go through history and you can find all kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is that in this current dispensation of time, it was popularized from that film, and it was not something that was in the lexicon of everybody, of what you're doing sexually. You know what I'm saying? Now, people may have done it, of course, just by happenstance. You know what I'm saying? But as far as it being a thing, it was popularized in this dispensation of time through the film Deep Throat.
Okay, all right. Well, so I'll talk about mine, because I said I will share. I have done the spitting before. And Lily, to answer your question, because you was like, what's the psychology behind it? At the time, there was no psychology. Like, there wasn't a setup. This guy was just like super, super freaky. We were drinking and a lot of wild shit was happening, like clothes ripping and you know what I mean? And this, me and you and blah, blah. And it's like, and then it happened. And it was that type of thing. Like, it's not something that I would request. It's not something that I ever did before or after that incident. But it was something that happened during that session. And for some reason, everything just flowed because it was so crazy, and the lights and everything just freaking flowed, and it felt okay. Like, I wasn't stunned by it. Sometimes you're having sex and then your partner does something and you're like, what the fuck? But I was like, I'm with the shits. What? You know what I mean? So we were like all over the place. So that was the psychology behind that session. So I have done it, but I wouldn't request it. I wouldn't be like,
so you checked it off the list, but
I did.
Okay, so I think we all had those things that got checked off the list, but it was like, try that, don't need to do it again type of situation. Got you. Yeah.
Yes.
We all have those. Yeah.
Yes. I love the hair pulling. I don't like the spanking. I'm not into the spanking. This is my thing. I don't like the spanking.
Yeah. Well, I
like, right. I like what for me. Like, I don't like the spank. I'm not into the spanking.
Yeah, I'm not into. I don't really like. Well, I don't know. I'm weird, but I will say this. Kind of like with your story, this is how I discovered that I do like choking. So I was with a guy, and we had excellent sexual chemistry.
Mm.
And he did it. He choked me, and I fucking just exploded. And I was like, I felt horrible, but good at the same time, because I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, why did I like that?
I'm calling my shrink in the morning. What the hell?
Right. I was like, oh my God. Like, I really was feeling the way afterward. You know, it's kind of like when you, like, when you're watching porn and then after you get your nut off, you're like, oh my God, who raised her? She needs her dad in her life. You know, it was one of those situations. So, but then, you know, the next night I was like, hey, you know that thing, that thing you did last night? Yeah. Like to request some of that, you know, so.
But Kuma Boyd says, what up, Jen? I'm too old fashioned for this one. I just love a good, perfect fit vagina. And my woman is talking to me, telling me what she wants and what I can do to make better communication. This woman told me this dude to her, open her mouth, then he spit in her mouth. Okay, listen, if you like vanilla, it's okay. There are 31 flavors, right? According to Baskin Robbins. It is fine. Haran DeMarco, thank you for the super chat. Haran says, not many things in this world feels better than the back of a woman's throat-ish as she massages it. Not an ego thing for me-ish. We may be viewing things differently, laughing out loud. Okay, so it's not an ego thing for Haran, okay?
Oh, I mean, you know, okay. I mean, you know, hey, you know, with whatever tickles your fancy. You know what I mean? That like I for me, it's never done anything special for me. And I got some mileage on this little car right here. So I would it just doesn't do anything. You know, for me, when it comes to that, you know, and even to the point where I'm like, hey, you're doing that for you, great. I don't need that.
Okay.
You know?
Jabari also says that does feel great in his Tony the Tiger voice. But Ish, you're a little more, I think you're a little more subdued sexually than a lot of people.
Well, I am, because it's more of a metaphysical experience for me. Mm-hmm. And I really try to bond with that person, and it's spiritual energy that's intertwined with physicality, and I'm in a space where I'm my desire is to please. I'm a pleaser. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really intensely focused on the person and their enjoyment, and I get enjoyment from that dynamic, as with the right partner and the right sexual chemistry, like Lily was saying, it's you know, it's almost a free floating experience, like you're just in outer space somewhere. And that's what I look for, you know what I mean? Because, you know, as you go through time trying to figure out and try stuff and do different things, at a certain point, the most beautiful aspect of intimacy is the connection and the vibe and the exchange. And you're experiencing somebody with sight, sound, taste, and touch. Like all these senses are going.
So rough sex to you is a no? That's a
yeah. Punching, slapping, all that just takes it out into a whole nother degree for me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Miss Polly, choking, slapping. I know there's no spitting for you. And the man has to know how to choke. There's a technique.
That's true.
To choking. I was almost killed.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing, right? Yeah. Choking's okay. What was the other one?
Slapping, choking, pulling hair.
Okay. I'm okay with all those.
Okay.
Depends, you know.
What about rip? No, Keith David. No smacks on the booty for me. I don't like it. I'm not into that. What about ripping off of lingerie or clothes?
Nah, see, I paid too much money. Y'all playing. Now, Victoria's Secret is not cheap, and I am not trying to buy new ones. I'm gonna need you to pull it together. That's not gonna work. Now, if it's a Dollar Tree shirt or something, we can talk. But you ain't gonna be pulling off Victoria's Secret, the bra $100 trying to rip it.
A real man should compensate you. If he's gonna
Yes.
like an old lady once told me one day, she said, if he's there to sweat your hair out, he should be there to pay for the hairdresser too. So
Wait.
when I learned,
You can't even say that because some of those bras Victoria's Secret are only like a season, sir. Okay? If I got the one season, you can't tear it up. You don't get a new season. The season don't come back. I'm gonna need you to buy two and then you can rip one. There you go. How about that? I'll let you do that.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, this is a good question. When is rough too rough? So I'll give you my scenario. A very long-term relationship I was in. Thank you for the super chat with that question. He was choking me, didn't know how, wasn't really his thing, and I completely blacked out, like passed out. And then I woke up in a bathtub and he was like crying and panicking and saying my name. But I came back. I was like, what happened? He was like, you passed out. And I was like, but I'm back. Are we done? Did we finish?
I love it. I love it.
But I was gone, like the whole thing. And the thing is that while you're having sex and being choked at the same time, sometimes you can't tell how hard you're being choked.
It's true.
Because there's different places, right? There's one that makes you go like, I can't breathe. And then there's another one that kind of like just puts you to sleep. We've all seen that. Guys do that sometimes for fun with other guys. You know, but I was like, we were in the mix. So I didn't even realize, and everything was just like dimming. And then before you know it, I'm in the tub and I'm like, what happened? He was like, oh my God. He was holding me. I was like, what happened? So you have to be careful, guys. You can't just be Wayne Brady and choke a bitch. Like you have to know what you're doing.
Right. I would say, and I would say, in my opinion, rough is too rough if you're in danger of dying or ruining anything on my body. In the house, it's okay. Don't ruin anything on me. It's too rough.
When is it too rough, Miss Polly? When are you like, whoa, wait?
I think you got to try it first. let me, you know, that's fair. Is that fair to say?
That is so fair. So fair.
Yeah, I'm like, let's try it. You know, let me be prepared. Let's have 911 near us, and let's just see. I mean, no, I don't want someone to fist fight me, no. But I'm saying, like, you know, hey, you know, I don't know how I'll feel. I haven't tried it yet. You know, you don't know. You know, I don't have no idea. I mean, I know it's like it just can't be like if it hurts, it's not great. If that makes sense. If it's gonna actually like I'm like, ow, I'm not happy. Yeah, that's not a good sign. But I mean, I haven't had a no yet, so we're okay. That's what I guess. So yeah. Mm-mm.
So I love that we're talking about this because Bakuma Boyd, we're going to explore all this tonight. Bakuma Boyd says, I see the spitting shit as a form of degradation. Here's the thing. Sometimes good sex is disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes good sex is disrespectful.
Sometimes I need to be disrespected. I'm just saying. I need you to let me know my mouth wasn't shit this week. Let me know. Get me the motherfucking together.
Sometimes good sex is disrespectful. Like, imagine it's wild. There's passion flowing. There's candles. There's, you know, everything is electric. The music is right. And a guy's just like, bitch, did not tell you this was my pussy. You know what I mean? Sometimes good sex is disrespectful. So you're right. When you say degrading, I can't even argue with you. Because sometimes good sex is disrespectful. You call in a guy, you this motherfucker, and ooh, this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's disrespectful. I'm not saying it has to be. I said sometimes it is.
Right. The balance. I like the balance. I like the balance of the making love, the, you know, regular sex, and then the rough. I like the balance. I don't like somebody who has one speed. Mm-hmm. You know, like tune into the moment. and we should know what each other is looking for in that moment.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Thank you for the super chat, Haran DeMarco. Haran DeMarco says, I will admit that I'm a sexual sadist. I believe sex is the most primal and intense form of expression. Yes, one must understand pressure levels, points, and study the muscles of the neck. See, it's interesting because that's like on the opposite end of what Ish was saying, where Ish is very like, it's whimsy and it's, you know what I mean? And and Haran is like, no, it's the most primal, intense thing that you can do. So I guess depends on what side, you know what I mean, of the spectrum you're on. Where was it animal sex or regular sex, right?
Right.
I look at it like this. Every sexual experience between two people has always had this unique aspect. You cannot walk and do what you did with person A or person B. And so if your energy is there and your mind is there, that's what it's going to be. And that's the dynamic of it. You know, again, like I said, I'm a very spiritual person. Pray, meditate, do all those type of things. So my energy comes in that form, and I move in those spaces, and they can be intense. You know, spirituality is not like, oh honey, I love you and let's pray before we, you know, it doesn't have to come, the thunder is a spiritual equation, you know what I mean? So lightning is shocking. So that same dynamic you can bring into your sexual experience depending on your connection with the person.
Okay.
Wait, I remember something, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not down with biting. I don't know what that's about. That's the only, it's weird. I don't know. It's weird to me. Maybe because I have small children in my life. Someone biting me is like, I want to fight you. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you bite me? Like, we're gonna fight. Like, that's not cool. Like, it's not for me. No, biting's not for me. It's too much fungus in your mouth. I don't know. I just don't want any part of that. Can't be it. It's just not part of who I am.
So does that mean you're not into oral sex?
That's what I was about to say.
No. Okay, but no. Who likes to get their private area bit? Okay, no one. Not me. Well, you know what? No, I lied. There are some people. See, I'm not part of that group.
No. I'm saying the fungal part of it. If you know, if the fungus is there, it's there. So if you're French,
I'm talking about when you get bit. You got bit by somebody outside. You have to go to the hospital and get a shot. That is what happened.
Skin bite.
Yes.
Well, that's blood and saliva.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some people like that. They like to bite.
But biting is not. But not biting to a point where there's blood. Like I bite. You know, I've had the request. It's like, oh, you want that? Okay, cool. Let's do that. You know. So that aspect. You're not biting to where you're breaking skin and they're bleeding. You know, that's like vampire.
Oh, let me tell you something. Okay. Somebody thought it was cute. I had pants on. Okay. I had full pants on. Someone bit me in my crotch. That was not funny. And I was ready to fight them. And they thought that was sexy. I was like, first off, I don't even know what happened because you were just trying to be cute, like sexy. We had clothes on and you just bit me in my crotch. And he was like, you don't like that? I was like, why? Who told you that? Whoever told you that, you go back and you tell them that's a lie right now.
See, that's what I'm saying. You can't go from point A to point B with two different people. That just doesn't work. Find and study the person. Get to know that, like you have to make an assessment. You tiptoe before you just come stomping in the room trying to do something and you say, oh, I want to try this because I saw it done on performance art television, which is porn. Because it's performance art. It's not, they're not in love or, what I'm saying? Like everything is not always feeling good. They're performing for the camera. So some people take it as a tutorial and it really shouldn't be.
Well, somebody in that man's life liked the crotch biting, but not
right. Like what happened? And I have people do weird things to me a lot. And I'm not trying to be, I don't understand why. And I wonder if it's just because I seem like a nice open person. And they're like, hey, she seems cool. Let's just test this out. And if the answer is no, the answer is no. Like I had a gentleman I met, we went on a date Tell me why this man put my hand in his mouth for no reason. And it's COVID time. And he was just like, I just want to hold your hand, like he was gonna kiss it. He kissed my hand, and he put my fingers in his mouth. And I looked at him, I said, sir, it's COVID. Like, that's not cool. I was very upset. You see what I'm saying? But why?
Okay.
Explain that.
So House of Matrix says you don't like neck biting, like the sexy neck biting.
The nibbling, like not a nibble, a little ear nibbling. I do a little ear nibble, neck nibble, little nibble here.
I think you need a sandwich. That we need to stop. We need to go eat, and then we can come back. That's what it reminds me of. You're hungry.
So I like bite. I don't like getting bitten, but I do like biting men. Like I wouldn't do it to a skinny guy. I'm not into skinny guys, even though I'm skinny. But I like biting, like, you know what I mean? Biceps, shoulders, arms. I like big, strong men because I know they can take it, right? But I wouldn't break the skin. I'm not gonna bite to leave like teeth marks and. You know, but every now and then you just want to, you know, especially when
how about teeth marks? Like some people be biting hard. They be thinking they cute, you know.
Yeah, some people do stuff and they don't really have they think it's the thing to do, but there's a skill and a technique to being rough.
Right.
It's a skill, right? You can't go around biting crotches and breaking skin and punching people in the eye. Like, you like that, baby? You like that?
Right.
Wait, no, it gets worse. Like I've had someone put their like whole tongue in my ear, like, and it like filled up with water. It was so much moisture. And I was like, why are you making out with my ear, dude? Like I now violated.
Put in my ear. That I don't like.
I think we
And then you hear it's like I don't like that. And your ear is wet, and you know, Damien, how are you?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We're good. We were talking
He
about
didn't got the evening voice on. I'm good. How are you doing?
No, I'm just not. It's just funny. I'm just catching the end of what y'all saying, and it's just like, what? Punching, biting?
Don Levon said he's here to learn. Thank you for the super chat, Don Levon. He said he's just here to learn. So we're talking
school's in session, Don Levon.
Hello. We're talking about rough sex and, you know, as opposed to BDSM, but I do have an author coming. She wrote a book called Pay for Play Dungeons and Dragons, and she's going to talk about the book is supposedly based on true events. Is she the person she's talking about in the book? Yo no sé, but we'll ask her when she pulls up. So Damien, rough sex, yay or nay?
I mean, it's a yay. It's I mean, it all the time, no, but it definitely has his place in his time and stuff like that, you know. And I guess maybe I missed what you guys as far as define as rough sex. What are we defining as?
So if you met, I just did the regular for short yellow bus sake. I just did the regular internet. What's rough sex? The internet says 80% of people have tried rough sex and they like it. It is defined as a cluster including behaviors such as choking, slapping, pulling hair, and even punching. Also, it says making someone have sex. That's what the internet says. And making someone have sex.
Yeah, in Japan, the whole rape fantasy was a big thing for a while, where it was all like, you know, ripping your clothes off and holding you down and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of women who actually have that, and it's a pretty common fantasy a lot of women have. So yeah, that's not unheard of. The punching, I think I did catch like when y'all was saying something about punching, and you were just like saying how, like, I think y'all might have taken it from the wrong position. I think it's men wanting women to punch them, not the other way around. I don't think it's men hauling off and punch women. I think there's men who want to get punched by women during sex, as opposed to men just hauling off on women. I think that if you dive deeper into that kink, it's the women doing the punching and the men doing the receiving, just like, you know, kicking in the balls and stuff like that.
Where are they getting?
But remember when we had my homegirl Brosia, she said she got a black eye on her birthday because she wanted her husband to punch her.
She sure did.
I feel like that's a setup. I'd be like, you trying to get a case on a brother. I know.
Yeah, you gotta know the person and be with the person for a minute before you even start
Right.
that. Like, if my wife is like all of a sudden punch me, I'd be like, "You sure about that?" You know, I'd have to question. But like I said, if she wanted to, there's not too much I wouldn't do to her if she wanted it. There's stuff I wouldn't let her do to me. But if she said I want you to do X, Y, and Z, I'd probably do it. Yeah, I'd definitely
Oh,
do it.
see,
So what if she wanted to bring somebody else into the room, another man?
Nah, and the funny thing is, I think I've had that discussion on this panel even
yeah,
before. It was like
mhm.
there's no pleasure in it for me. I haven't reached that level of compersion, the Miss Polly level of compersion. I haven't, I like to call it. I haven't reached that level of compersion where I get any kind of real enjoyment and pleasure out of seeing them being pleasured or being made to feel good. You know, if she wanted to bring another woman, that's different because then we both could enjoy the pleasure of the other person, you know. So but yeah, there's no benefit for me to bring another dude. I don't want to see her fucking another dude. That's just not, yeah, I'm not built like that. That
Bakuma
dude,
boy,
me and that dude to be fist fighting.
Bakuma boy, yeah, that's why I wouldn't do it neither. Bakuma boy says nibble on the clitoris just so slightly, very little teeth. No. No, see, but it's funny because you was like, I think you were the one asking about slapping on the ass, and I was like, no. But the nibbling on the, I don't, no, not very little teeth, not a lot of teeth, no teeth, do not. Like, I think guys forget how, or maybe they don't know how very, very, very sensitive the
I
clitoris,
mean, I don't think they know.
especially during love making, because it's engorged and it's very, very sensitive. So you shouldn't nibble. You shouldn't keep eating after she's trying to push you away. Like, that's not sexy. A lot of guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm like, it's not, it doesn't feel good. When someone's pushing you away, common sense is, I want you off of me because I need a break. I need to like do the cool down. It doesn't feel good, but I'm doing this. And for some reason, men think that this is like the national symbol for keep going. She wants more. No, the fuck we don't. This, stop, wait a minute, knock it off. Let me calm down. It's fucking stop.
Well, what it is dudes want to feel like they're in control of the situation. They want to think that they're running shit. They're like, I'm in control of this. You don't tell me when to stop. I tell you when it's done, kind of situation. It's not like, and they think if you're getting this much pleasure, maybe you'll be getting it even more, or you just can't handle the pleasure that I'm giving you. So, you know, they want to control the situation.
Delusional.
Damien,
Yeah.
please.
That
Damien,
ain't
please.
me. No. Hey, I get it. I was like,
it's not, it just doesn't, if it felt good, it's different, but common sense will tell you it does. And women, all women, like, wait a minute. And it's funny because I saw someone post that on Facebook and there were like 100 guys, not one man said, well, I don't do that because I know it doesn't feel good to her. Not one man. They all thought that it felt good. And I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna dig down and I'm gonna grab her by her legs. I'm like, does it feel good?
Dude, and dudes, I'm gonna put y'all for the fellas listening. If in that moment of euphoria, when she's like pushing you away, there is a very high likelihood that anything that she hasn't done, she's willing to do in that moment because her mind, she's dick drunk like there. She's just like, and I'm like if she hasn't given you head, you can get some head. If you haven't done, there's a lot of things she's willing to do at that point that you can explore because she's in that kind of like fog of euphoria from orgasm. And yeah, if you was like, you know what, baby, I'm gonna do this, and I give it to you. There's a lot of women you can get away with a lot. Like if you want to get up there and get some head or whatever, that'd be the time to do it.
So let me ask, like when a man is getting head, isn't it the same feeling? Like don't keep sucking it, or is it different? Because I don't know. Is it like when you're getting head and you're coming or you came and a woman keeps like, aren't you like?
Yeah, but if they do it with this at the same rate and speed, then it can be a much. If it's slowed down, like, you know, just kind of like the cleanup, I like to call it after. If it's like the cleanup continuation of it, then it's different. Yeah,
exactly.
Like you said,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's how you
know,
yeah,
Okay.
cleaning up well enough where you could just throw it back in your drawers, you know, that kind of situation. Then then you can keep going, but don't like be like vigorously doing shit because we'd be like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
Definitely
I-
And
change.
men, you can do the same thing with women at learning what you call it. Don't be doing the same thing. You can like slowly do stuff to kind of, bring her
Blow
back down or
on
what
it.
have you.
Blow on it.
Yeah, something like
Talk it. Hug it. Kiss it. Don't keep fucking eating. Do anything with that. Get some tea. Get a towel. Do anything with that. Shit. God. I cannot believe all those men were saying the same thing. I'm like, you guys are clueless.
because women ain't. But the thing is, women aren't telling them what the real deal is.
Telling
They're
them
just sitting in
that's
there letting
foolishness.
do. If what you call it,
Especially
if the
these
minute
younger girls, especially the younger girls, they definitely don't know how to speak up and
Save
say, this.
save a friend. We should have a group called Save a Friend. Okay.
Right.
Stop
Save a
sending
Friend.
these men out here, especially
no
people who've
skills.
been married for long periods of time, and they get with someone and they be like, "Oh, I was married 10 years and now I'm single for the last 2." And you come in there doing some crazy stuff and be like, "Oh, she let you do this for 10 years?"
Yeah, but the funny thing is, it would have to be a woman telling a man. You know how awkward and weird that is. A dude telling another dude what to do, like the how to eat pussy. That just it comes off as weird. It comes off like what, you know. It's more to receive from a woman. She say, "Hey, you doing? I love what you do, but it would be better if you did this, or maybe try this and don't do this, or what have you." Like that. There's a way that you can phrase it that doesn't fuck up a dude's ego. You could just be like, whatever you tell him to do is just an enhancement to the thing that he's already doing. So,
But doesn't the nation teach like about sex and sensuality or anything like that?
Yeah, you have and I've heard some crazy things too. So you'd be like, brother, does minister know you teaching that? Like I don't know, brother. That sounds a little like something you brought from your own personal experiences, but yeah, there is that aspect of learning, because again, if you don't have a teacher, a lot of us have learned sexuality through porn or locker room talk. And so if you don't understand the sciences of the human body, nerve endings, and really being attentive and sensitive to your partner's needs, then you're just walking in there just running roughshod and doing everything through trial and error. So yeah, there's one brother who used to teach Muhammad in the bedroom, and he taught it just brought a deeper approach to it, and it's like Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra was built out of the spiritual practices in India. And so when you start understanding the nuances of what this does and trying this action and what it does to the body and to the heart, there's certain aspects where people have had heart attacks through oral sex, because there's certain nerve endings that run straight to the heart and stimulate the heart. So, that once you really understand that, there's a book called The Tao of Sexology.
Wait a minute, didn't they have a bad heart to begin with?
No. In the book, The Tao of Sexology, they go into that very, very specifically.
So you could just give a regular healthy man who works out and eats right, you could give him a whole coronary with some head?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's around. I mean, again,
Lily like challenge accepted.
Hey, stop trying to make serial killers out here. These women gonna be out here serial killing men. Don't do that.
There's certain regions of the male phallus where that these nerves, when you focus on certain areas, there you go.
He's not lying. Yeah.
So a completely healthy man.
Completely healthy man. Because you're causing the heart to beat at a different rhythm, and you're stimulating these other nerves. And there's certain portions of the shaft that touch certain parts of the body. It's just like when you look at acupressure on the foot, and it might affect you rub here and it affects the spleen, all that. The nerves are running all throughout the entire body. So if you really understand what you're doing and focus your energy there, and take the time, you can really affect, there's a deeper aspect to sex. That's the whole point.
Okay, so the ladies that's your new excuse. The ladies that don't give head, just tell him you don't want to give him a heart attack.
And he's not lying, because I've had a couple of times that I literally thought I was going like, no, seriously, he's not lying. Like, I've had a couple of times, 2 times that I can think of, where I was like, oh, I think I might kill this man. Like literally scared. Like, I'm scared. Like, yeah. Like, it
is that humble bragging?
No.
Lily up here humble bragging.
It went from
It scared me that
like,
I'm so good at giving head.
No, that's what it went from. It went from that to like, oh shit, this is no longer ego. Like, I'm literally scared. Like,
that is scary though. You don't want someone dying on you during sex.
Exactly. Like, it goes past. That's why I'm like,
hang on, wait. You don't know that. They're gonna be serial killers out here. Why y'all gonna have all your girlfriends, y'all make her mad, you cheat on her. She gonna be like, oh baby, let me suck your dick. And then she gonna suck you off and kill you. Wow.
What was that one spot again?
That'll make a hell of a one of them corny horror movies. A chick that's just killing dudes with head.
Oh my God.
Maybe that's what happened to Kevin Samuels.
That's hilarious. Yeah, well,
man. I always thought though, like, if you really want to have like any type of real instruction on how to like pleasure the opposite sex, it should be taught by the opposite sex. I don't think men can teach women how to really, really pleasure them. Because when dudes talk about it, there's always a sense of egotism in it. But like, yeah, you gotta like, pound it for 8 hours. They always try to make themselves pump themselves up to make it seem like they just doing it. I think really women should teach.
It really depends on the space that the person is coming from, because if it is a goodness.
What's up?
Yes, man. Jabari Bryan, thank you for the super chat. He said, I need that chick. He wants the heart attack. Jabari wants the heart attack. He wants the heart attack.
I gotta live.
Right. I wanted to piggybacking off of what you said, Damien, is something else I don't like. And I don't want to, this is about rough sex, but I don't want to turn it into school.
Yeah.
Right. But it's important, right? Because a lot of adults still don't know how to fuck, believe it or not. They think they do. So another thing that is whack to me, like a lot of guys think that women run from dick. Right? Yeah, you run. I thought you wanted the dick, then she ran from it. You run from dick. You can't take dick. You can't dick. No, women don't run from dick. They run from bad stroke. Say it with me. They don't run from dick. They run from bad stroke. If you're a hammer,
China, you better come up right now, China.
I just dropped the link. Let me drop it again.
China, come up right now.
I can't tell you the fucking times where men think that it's like, yeah, look at me go. And I'm like, it does not. Women don't like shit that don't fucking feel good. And I hate that idea. It's like, yo, I've seen porn where people are putting a whole foot in a vagina, a whole fist in a vagina. I've seen the porn. Okay, she's not running from your penis. She's running from a bad stroke or something that does not feel good. Your dick isn't as big as a foot, okay? And I've seen feet up in vagina.
Or baby.
Right. So perfect your stroke. You know what I mean? Your stroke has to match her insides. Every woman is not the same. Every man is not the same.
And that was the point I was about to make, is that now this is bragging. This is a humble brag here. What I take ownership of is that I am really good at getting in tune with my partner's energy and body movements and quirks and like little tiny things to know, like, okay, he likes this, he doesn't like this, kind of like what Brother Ish was saying, like, you can't have sex with 2 people the same way. So I'm very, 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 very clear on that. And that's what I take pride in. My thing is that that's important. What I see is quite a few people that aren't able to do that because of selfishness. A lot of times it's like it's just that they want to get off. And for me, a big chunk of my ego is knowing that I know how to please my man, so I take I pay very close attention. Like, okay, when I'm giving head, Like, okay, he doesn't like, I'm noticing nothing's, I'm not getting a reaction from that technique. Let me switch up the technique. There we go. There we go.
Right.
Yeah. Just no heart attacks.
There
Just
it
no heart
is.
attacks.
Versatility is the key, and also and again gauging reaction, because when you're talking about any form of sex, it's about your partner, and it's about analyzing and not just being so in your head you're not in the moment, but you really have to be, you're there to give pleasure, you're there to receive pleasure, and if you're not receiving, is learning how to have a love language to communicate that as well. So yeah, and being versatile, knowing what you can or cannot do.
I wanted to address, Don Levon said, the women I date tell me what I need to do because I ask. Fuck trying to figure it out on my own, laughing out loud. Okay, so check this out. That's great, but let me tell you something.
I know where this is going.
Let me speak to that, okay? Everybody has their own swag. You got to come in with your own swag and what you do, right? You got to lay it down. Like, this is what I do, and then I can switch it up and custom fit it for you. But you have to start with your own swag, because there is nothing like a man doing what he does, and it blows your mind without him asking you all the fucking time. What you want? Did you like that? Does that feel good? How about this? Do you want that? Yeah, you like that? Whose pussy is this? If it becomes 21 questions,
right? Is it a pop quiz or what?
Like it turns me off.
Yeah.
So yeah, asking, you even got to know how to ask. Because I know if a man asks me too many questions, it turns me off. I'm like, what do you do? Let's find out what you do, and then we'll take it.
Yeah, you got to bring some kind of skill set to the situation. You can't just be coming there and be like, okay, let's write down the things you like, and I will go down them.
So it's like you got ask. It's like I would do playful asking on a date.
Right.
Do playful asking on a date, like, oh, you know what I mean? Idle conversations like, oh, I remember, but you like that? Make it playful conversation. Don't make it like, so do you like, getting stroked from the left or the right from behind? Like, it's like, so
I hate that.
China, we were gonna do the dominatrix thing tomorrow, but tomorrow's New Year's Eve, so I didn't want to tie anybody up. I want everybody to do what they want to do New Year's Eve. So we pushed it up to tonight, and we're just doing rough sex. But I am supposed to have a guest who wrote a book about being a dominatrix coming up, hopefully soon.
China, come on up, China.
I told China.
All you heathens talking about the nastiness. Ain't none of y'all married. All y'all some
What?
heathens.
Married.
I'm married.
Emphasize on the H. A heathen.
That's right.
I want you to get the breeze. The Bible says Jesus breathed on them.
That's right.
Hey, heathen.
Amen.
Judge yourself now.
Amen.
Judge yourself.
Yeah.
All y'all going down. All of y'all are going down.
I'm talking about the goodness of the Lord.
Right.
That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about, going down.
Mark Random said,
Seriously.
have we discussed pegging yet? We have not. I guess we're doing it now. Ladies, pegging, gentlemen, pegging.
Wait, what is that? What is that?
That's when a woman put.
pegging.
That's when
No
a
pegging for
woman
me.
put when you put a strap on and do you up the ass. That's
I
pegging.
don't like it. I don't like if a man, actually, I'm gonna be real with you. If a man requested, it's a turn off for me.
But the thing is, keep it funky, Lily. You would probably do it, but then you wouldn't respect them after.
Okay, so let me tell you that. No, that's not my story, but I will tell you this. A lot of my women friends, gorgeous, feminine, you would never suspect it. And I'm talking a lot of women I know are into it. But that's what they all say. They say, if a guy will let me do it, I won't never respect him as my man. but I enjoy doing it with a random, or just like once I'm done, it's like, oh, it's kind of like, oh, that, whatever,
Like, a lot of women who are I've heard about that do it. They find avenues from where they can do it, whether it's like swingers parties or stuff like that. Then they're free to do that without any fear of losing respect for anybody. Then they can kind of let all that stuff out. Like you said, in a one-on-one relationship, it's very easy. And that's the hard thing about sex for men, is it's very easy for you to lose the respect of the woman you're with. Very easy. So you get, I mean, whether you can't last, whether you're too small, whether you're into some weird shit, it's just very easy to lose the respect. So you got to really be on your A game and watch your shit.
Yeah, that one makes me like, there's certain things that are like, oh, that's a no, but we can still be together. And with that one, it's like, oh no, that's a no, and
bye.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it. I don't, there have been some men who've requested certain type of things, like a finger or stuff like that. It's like, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl, but enjoy. Hopefully you find someone to do it. I do. China, you don't have to throw your bra on. Throw on a t-shirt, okay, and a little bit of lip
Throw
gloss.
on the Creating Anarchy t-shirt. Come on up.
Okay, guys. So I want to segue into. I know we're doing rough sex, but I do have our guest backstage, and I want to bring her up because I don't want her to wait. Okay, let me take this down real quick. So I am bringing up Shakira Ruiz. And if I mispronounce that, she will correct me. This is her book here, Shakira Ruiz, Pay for Play, Dungeons and Dragons. I love that the book says based on true events, okay? That means that Shakira has experience and we got questions. So welcome, Shakira Ruiz. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you guys?
How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We are excited to speak to you and talk all about your book.
Yeah, and happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So glad you're here. Star is raving about, for those of you who know Star from the Star Report, is raving about your book. That's where I saw you. And I was like, I want her on the block with Jen. And that's when he connected us. So Shakira, tell us about your book, specifically the Based on True Events. Is this about your events or people you know?
So that's an interesting question. It's based on certain things that I have seen, certain people that I've met, but also on when the book says based on true events, the whole concept of the book is not really sex. It's not about, the whole dominatrix culture per se. That just sets the stage. But this is really like it's really a drama about women in that in particular field who come against different like challenges and obstacles. One of them being a killer. So this is really a dramatic story, And when I say based on true events, it's based off of a series of murders that happened way back in the day in the early 90s, where women were getting killed. A lot of sex workers were getting killed. And so that's where I actually got the story from. Yeah, so it's more involved than what meets the eye initially,
Got it. So is it does it follow just one character? Is she a dominatrix or just a sex worker in general?
No, she's a dominatrix. So I kind of wanted to not make it traditional. I wanted to make it more taboo and more interesting. So that's why I chose the whole dominatrix, genre, really, But essentially, yeah, she's actually a teenager. And what it is she's trying to pay for school. She's trying to pay to get into college. And so this is her journey on how she took care of herself and how she was able to, achieve her, her goals, really. And essentially what happens in the book is when she gets involved, at some point her sisters also get involved. So to me, the story is kind of like a modern day Set It Off, because it's like a sisterhood sort of book. And they all kind of get involved in the business and they all watch each other's backs and they all get money together, while also having to face the dangers of people within the business and the dangers from predators outside of the business, you know. So
now this is a heavy subject. So can you tell us what inspired you to write Pay for Play?
What inspired me? Well, it's a story that I heard a long time ago, and I really, you know, I was interested in it. I was always interested in this story. So I kind of wrote, well, let me segue to this. My background is actually filmmaking. I'm a screenwriter and director, right?
Nice.
Yes, thank you. So I wanted to write this story, but first what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to develop like a following for the story. So that's why I wrote the novel first. But eventually there will be a film to follow. So that was that's kind of like the way I wanted to strategize that, you know. But it was always something that I wanted to write about, and you know, I'm a creative mind also. So, you know, when I hear certain things kind of just branch off into other things, and I'm like, okay, this would make a cool story, and that's how it kind of came about.
That's really dope. So I didn't have to start telling you, but I act and write as well.
Oh no, he didn't tell me that.
So we got to keep in touch.
We absolutely have to keep in touch. Yes.
And I have entertainers also on the panel.
Okay.
So definitely keep in touch. We definitely want to support the book, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you the picture again really quickly. Shakira Ruiz, Pay for Play, Dungeons and Dragons, based on true event. So Shakira, let me ask you, did you research the dominatrix lifestyle? And if so, what did you learn from it? Like, did anything surprise you?
So, you know, I did a lot of research. You know, it was interesting because I was listening to you guys right before I joined. And so you were talking about pegging, right?
Unfortunately.
So this is the interesting thing about it, right? Doms are more like the type of worker that men go to who don't have traditional requests, right? So pegging would be one, right? And it's a whole slew of other things that men are, let's just say, embarrassed to ask their significant other for. You know what I'm saying? And so it's interesting because, yeah, you know, not every man feels comfortable saying, hey, you know, this is what I want to try. I know, oh, what if she thinks, you know, I'm gay, or does it make me gay, or, you know, does it make me weird? You know, so that's why they are there, because they don't have an issue with that, you know?
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I was just curious. When I was curious when people write books and stories that have like a significant sexual overtone, does it tell you do you learn anything about yourself writing these things, like writing like researching and diving deep into it? Do you kind of like think, I learned something about myself in this? Was that at all part of it for you?
Oh, that's a good question. What did I learn about myself? You know, I just learned that I think I'm more open-minded than most people are. You know, I think that's what I learned primarily. Not that necessarily these are things that I'm into, but I think I understand the reason behind it. And I understand why, you know, these types of ladies exist, you know, because it's specifically, you know, because, you know, a lot of men don't want to be shamed or whatever the case may be. But it's also becoming less taboo now.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. So you're not a professional dom, but you did the research and wrote this narrative. Is that how I understand it clearly?
I'm not a professional dom, but I am familiar with the lifestyle. When I was in college, way back when, I met certain people who were definitely lifestyle doms. I met really interesting people, and it was some things that, you know, I explored with my significant other at the time. So, you know, I'll say that.
Ooh.
You did research. I love it.
I did research.
Yes.
Practical research.
I live.
It's like, baby, it's for research purposes, baby.
Right. It's over.
Yeah.
Do you find that a lot of men in your research or in your own experience, do you find a lot of men like ass play, but they're not homosexual? They just have, you know what I mean, sensation in their ass. I am of the belief, and I could be wrong, but I think that we have holes in our body, and a lot of things feel good to the different holes in our body, right? So I don't necessarily think, and I know some men may disagree with me, but I don't necessarily think that because a man wants penetration in his behind that he's automatically a homosexual. I look at homosexual as a man who wants to be with a man, right? Or a woman that wants to be with a woman. I just go by the definition, what it is. Do you feel that, or have you discovered men that are not homosexual that still enjoy ass play, so to speak, for lack of a better scientific term?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, and sometimes some men will like play around with the idea to see if maybe they want to, do more or explore with other, maybe they do want to be with a man. But first, let me see if I like being with a woman in this way, But I will say that most men probably who do that, they don't have an interest in being with men.
Now, I did know that part. From the men that I've known that like to be pegged, they like to be pegged by women only. They have absolutely positively no attraction to other men. Mm-hmm. And that is a misconception that a lot of people have. Mm-hmm. And I look at it like kind of like Jen, more so than the holes. I look at it like it's a whole G-spot back there. It's not back there for no reason. So, just saying. Mm-hmm. Oh, someone else said it. Okay.
Okay. China's all over it.
Yeah.
Shakira, where can we find the book?
You can find it on Amazon and Amazon Kindle. So it's available in paperback and as an ebook.
Okay. I would like people in the chat and us on the panel to support. And also it's important when you buy a book on Amazon to leave a review.
Please. Yes.
Leave a review, be an actual buyer of the book and leave a review. It takes a couple seconds.
And also, I want to say this too, for the men that are watching, men actually respond very well to this book. So it's not like
I bet.
It's not like a chick book or something, it's not about, it's not a woman's book per se, but men love it just as much as women do. Because like I said before, it's not the framework. Yes, the environment and everything, that the backdrop is seduction. It's, that whole taboo lifestyle, but there's an actual story within that. You know what I'm saying?
You did some excellent marketing. If you want men to be attracted to this book, you got an attractive women. You have the words Dungeons and Dragons on it. You've marketed well to where men will feel comfortable buying this book.
Thank you.
I worked on a film. I've worked on a couple of films that kind of had some really racy subject matter. I worked on a film called My Normal, which was about a dominatrix and their whole lifestyle and wanting to transition out of that life and then make money in another way. And so I had an opportunity to be in different dungeons and observe that whole lifestyle. And it's very intriguing to see like men who function very, very normally, like there's this one guy while we were setting up and he was helping us tie up one of the actors. And he was like the super in your apartment building. Like he was just like this old, gruffy, heavy cat. And as soon as his dominant came in there, he dumbed down into like it was like, wow. He was like, yeah. So when you tie somebody up, you do like,
right.
Yes, mistress. Like, and it was just, it was like a switch, and she just stepped into the room. So do you find that there is a psychological need that's there, or that there's something that happened to people and sometimes when they want to be submissive?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to say that most of the men, most of the men who go to see dominatrixes are alpha type men. And then what it is, it's just that moment where they can let all of that go and not have to be so in control. So it's just giving over their control and their power to someone else just for that moment, because most of their life it's them always having to and having to be the leader. What that's about, yeah. And I would say if he did that instantly, then she's really good. She's really good at what she does. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a show called Billions where Paul Giamatti, he's like a high powered like state senator or something, state and what have you, and he's just in control of everybody, but he has a dominatrix he goes to see, and he's married, and he gets permission from his wife to go see a dominatrix because it helps him, like it gives him the okay to not be in charge, to let go of the authority that he has and to be under somebody else's authority, because in his true life he's the end of the line, he is the authority, and it just, a lot of men crave the freedom to release that authority and, just like you said, just be under somebody's authority where they're dictating what the person to do. Because a lot of and have you find there's a correlation with dudes who are in positions of high authority tend to crave this kind of release a lot more than dudes who are just or have no authority or an average levels of authority.
Yeah, certainly. And also within that lifestyle, the other thing that I've noticed is that not all dominatrixes are doms. So what that means is not all of them are dominant. Some are submissive. So you have the subs, so that would more be for the man who probably doesn't have any control, somebody who wants to tie someone up and be ruler for that moment or however long. But yeah, so it's a little something for everyone, depending on what it is you're looking for.
Nice. So you just got 3 purchases, Shakira. I just got it on. Lily got it. China got it. Fellas, I expect you to get it as well.
I'm gonna grab it. I promise you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Support.
I shared with the group earlier this week that I had started a foot page at one point, and I didn't realize how much that crossed into this world. And then that's when I started to learn a little bit about the psychology behind some of it, which was extremely interesting to me. Like, even if it was something I wasn't into, there was a lot of interesting things that I learned, and how much like the foot world crossed over into the dominatrix world and things like that. And what I found with the guys who wanted to be dominated was men of more higher authority. That's what I was finding. It was more of the CEOs and things like that. So yeah, and especially when it came to like, what is it?
Masochism.
Yes. Especially with that. Like the real powerful guys, they love that, the pain and the stomping and the, all of that stuff, that was really big to them. So that was interesting, learning all of that.
So Shakira, can you speak on, you said something very interesting. You said not all dominatrices are the ones that kind of handle the men and rough up the men. Some of them are submissive.
Yes.
So what kind of man usually is the client for that type of woman? If the client for the dominatrix, the rough dominatrix, is like the powerful guy, is it the opposite with the submissive dominatrix? Really?
It would be the opposite. Yeah, it would probably be someone who maybe doesn't necessarily feel well respected in his everyday life. Maybe somebody who wants to feel like they have a sense of power or control, or that they're admired. Yeah, so it's different.
That's
Oh,
interesting.
okay, hold on now. The more we talk, are you get what I'm thinking, Jen? The more we talk, I think we're proving Ish's point at the beginning of the stream. and we read them like we just laughed them away like, oh, you have no point, Ish. No, we didn't say that, but we said we were going to put it on the table. And
Right, we'll put it on the table because I don't think everybody's the same. All freaks
I don't either.
are a monolith. Freaks are not a monolith.
Definitely, that's very true. Yeah. It's still on the table. Is we're not going to accept your theory just yet as fact.
Right. You know, it's really
we would have to do empirical study for it to prove it as fact. So I don't know if we want to really discover down that road.
Does anyone else have any questions for Shakira about the book? Okay, Elvis, let me unmute you because you come in with so much noise, brother.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I found it very interesting that the woman who's the dominatrix is this powerful person, but the man who's the dominatrix is a man who in his regular life is weak.
Oh, wait. Just to interrupt for 1 second. If there are male dominatrixes, right? But they're called masters. It gets a little complicated. Now, when it's a man that's going to see the woman, he can either be submissive or he could be dominant. But then sometimes there are some women who go to see masters, and there are some men who, like men, that go to see masters as well, who want to be dominated. So it gets a little, it's there's a lot happening here.
I love it.
Okay, it just appeared that maybe possibly the when a person seeks out, I don't know, I got confused, but it sounded like you were saying that if a woman was seeking to be dominated and she wanted to play the submissive role, who's that guy? Is that guy dominant or submissive on a regular every day?
Oh, so the psychology of like a master.
Right.
Well, it depends. Is he pay for play or is he lifestyle? Because that's really what the book also touches on. Pay for play means that you're doing it for the money, and then lifestyle. There are lifestyle doms that they really live this every day. That's part of who they are. That's their persona. They don't really separate their an everyday from whatever it is that they want to project. That's who they are. So it depends on the dom, really.
Okay, so there are no rules, in other words.
No.
Well,
no.
There's all rules.
I mean, it depends. The only rule is really like, why are you doing it? Is this who you are, which would be like a lifestyle dom, or are you a pay for play dom? Is this about money? So I think
there has to be some type of communication because I've been around. I know people who have been into the master sub-master relationship. I think there is a significant amount of communication as far as the agreement that you got to come through in order to both people to feel like they're getting what they want out of the engagement. Like you said, it's different from the pay for play where you just come in, Friday at 11 o'clock, do what you got to do and then leave. But then there's, like you said, the lifestyle where, okay, we're going to have a relationship. We're going to define what our relationship, what do you get out of, what do you need out of it, what I'm willing to do, what are you do. And then, I mean, this would be a good one for Haran to be on because like I said, they even have stuff like, collaring ceremonies to where you get your collar. There's a big ceremony and party to celebrate that you are officially, there's sub training where you got to go through like a preliminary, like probationary period, and then you get a collar. There's all kinds of stuff that goes along. I think I think my understanding is there has to be a lot of communication to establish rules to make sure nobody is feeling like everybody's getting what they want out of the engagement. And that's, like you said, that's more lifestyle than pay per play.
But you know what? It's and let me interject here. And I know I'm not the authority, but just having, I worked on a film once, but The dynamic that I learned in asking a lot of questions on set was that you have to, there's a skill set you have to have, because you can hurt someone, and the ability to take them to a certain threshold of experiencing pleasure to some degree, and or just experiencing what's going on and not harm, cause them to like seriously injure themselves. There is a training and skill set dynamics that you
So
have
let's
to have
throw it.
before you get into that.
Let me interject. Let's throw it back to Shakira. Shakira, someone in the chat did say, do you have to sign a waiver? What are the concerns regarding safety?
So no, you don't have to sign a waiver, but in terms of safety, you definitely have to ask questions, and there's safety words that you use too to let the dom know that, okay, maybe you're going too far or whatever the case may be. So you definitely use safety words in that, and you can be descriptive at the very beginning of your scene. This is what I want. This is, this is what I don't want. I'm not into that. Please don't do that. This is what I want. And I think even in a pay for play situation, if the relationship is ongoing, you get to learn that person, and each time it'll be more clear and clear as to what it is that they like and what they don't like, so the first time around you're filling them out, it's because it's normal. If you don't know someone, you meet them for the first time, it's like, let's see what is it that they like, what is it that they don't like, and then you go from there.
Okay.
And you don't sign waivers really, because it's like, part of that whole thing, a big deal in that lifestyle is that discretion is very important, so people want that, they want to keep their privacy. So yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Haran DeMarco. Haran DeMarco says just purchased, so he also bought the book.
Oh, thank you.
He said, yes, CEOs, politicians, and judges tend to visit DOMs. Great, we're having a discussion about the psychological components. Lifestyle master here, by the way. So Haran is a lifestyle master.
Yeah.
The learning is ongoing. Okay. Shakira, let's talk money. Is it lucrative?
Oh yeah, it can be very lucrative. That's why a lot of them have a hard time leaving the business, because the money is so fast and it just pours in. And a lot of times, these ladies, they have their own followings. They go on tour like celebrities, some of them from city to city. So they're popular depending on how they brand themselves, so I could see why, some of them, they kind of get caught up because it's like, it's just coming in so fast, and then of course there are moments when it doesn't come in fast, So
what's the downtime? Like, what would cause the money to slow down? Is there a season? Is there a holiday? Is there economy?
Sometimes the economy, actually. Sometimes the economy, sometimes the season, sometimes those pockets are empty after the holidays. You know what I mean? So
that's in January.
January might be a slow month.
Man, could you imagine the CEO of Procter & Gamble getting walked around and eating out of a dog bowl? Of course he's gonna pay a lot because he wants that discretion and that privacy. He doesn't want it to ever get out. He don't want the woman to have to be like, I'm broke. I got this picture of Procter & Gamble CEO eating out of a dog bowl. Let me blackmail him. You gotta pay. Yeah, you gotta make sure they're well compensated for discretion purposes.
In the lifestyle, Shakira, is there sex involved, or that's an absolute no? That's a whole different situation.
I want to say most of the times it's no. And I'll say most because, everyone is different, some people might, if the price is right, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how, no judgment here. But usually no, because it's really not about that. I think sex to dominatrixes is like, well, then they're giving their power away. You know what I mean? So it's not about that for them.
No, that's very true from what I found from my people who do it. Yeah, it was very, 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 and my couple of friends that I'm thinking about were actual sex workers who would do that as part of their package, right? So when the person requested that, 9.5 times out of 10 they didn't want sex. So Yeah, that's what it seems to me, you know, from what I've gathered.
I have a weird question. Do you think, or did you find, or anyone can answer this? I don't want to put all this pressure on Shakira. Like, I don't know. Do you find that a dominatrix, her mental health is better than someone who's a sex worker who's selling sex? Like, I can imagine those lifestyles are different. Like, let's say me, for example, if I was in a lifestyle, I think I would be happier beating men up than selling cooch. I'm just thinking mentally. Do you see a difference in mentality, or is it the same? Sex work is sex work.
No, it's not the same. And that's actually a really, really good question. I think, and that's something that's posed in the book. One of the encounters that Mistress O has with someone who was an actual sex worker, and like she went through so much abuse when it comes to selling cooch, right? Because obviously it's illegal most places, so it's not regulated. The women are not protected, and so they go through more. So I would say that a dom definitely would have better self-esteem and a better sense of who she is than someone who is actually selling it all.
Oh.
There's different parts of your brain that when you're letting stuff happen to you and then you're doing to somebody else. Like it's a different part of your brain. Like it's like a woman who says, okay, I'm going to let this man enter me for $500 is different than I'm going to inflict pain on somebody. It's a different, because there's two different parts of the brain working there. You can kind of disassociate, but there's something else going on when you inflict pain as far as when you are having sex, even if it's just transactional,
because in one instance you're giving away power, in the other instance you're taking power, so you're empowered.
Yeah, I think a lot of women I know who've done sex work as far as like prostitution or what have you, it's they know how to. There's no lasting effect from it. As far as like if they are something that they've been doing for a while and they're used to, they can switch that part of the brain on and be gone with it. It's like I said, it comes to a different place. If you're hurting somebody, if you hit somebody, you can see blood drawing from somebody's parts of somebody's body, or if you burn somebody with a cigarette and you see the pain you inflicted on somebody, that can be traumatizing. You got to worry about your own mental health, and that's what does it fuck with your own mental health to see that and know that it was you that did it, especially if you come from like a situation where you've had any type of physical violence happen toward you, and now you inflicting it on somebody else. It could really fuck with you. Maybe.
Yeah.
Does it get bloody, Shakira? Does it get bloody, or is it just like bruising and red splashes?
It depends. It depends. So because it's like a wide spectrum. So there's some doms that are more sensual. They're more like to the role play, fetish type stuff, and then you have the extreme BDSM, which is what Dame, right? That's your name? Dame?
Yeah, Damien. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. So, and that can actually, to a certain degree too, let me just say that depending on how far you take it will affect, I guess, your mental well-being, I would imagine, because again, if because there's some doms who are so much into the life that they have their own slaves, believe it or not. Like they have their own personal slave. So it's like, it would be like, and that would also entail having like a lifestyle submissive, maybe someone who comes over and cleans their house, or does their grocery shopping for them, or gives them a foot massage at the end of the day. Like there's something
like this. Okay, hold on now. Hold
on. Or it could be financial submission, like dominatrix. Some people can say, give me $100 because you were late. Give me $500 because you were. It could be that part of. There's some people who like to be financially exploited by dom.
That's very true. Because when I was doing the foot page, the guys who would lie noticed that they like the dominant. I was like, let me try this shit. So I tried it.
Like, you want me to step on what? You sick. Give me $500.
Yeah. I was.
And they would send it.
And it was crazy, but the blood part, that was what one of the things that I was most shocked about was how many guys would request things that would draw blood. Like I'm talking past drawing blood. Like I was shocked. Like you want what? Like for instance, I'm gonna give an example. There was this one guy. He pretty much wanted you to take him near death. Literally near death.
Damn.
He got off on that. So I learned their spectrums, you know, and he would talk about the blood drawing and that. So I learned that was something new.
It's called bloodletting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Bloodletting.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that similar
Some people
to I brought up cutting earlier?
Well, it could entail that. It could get real deep. It's as deep as you want it to be, you know. And again, it's really based on how much you can handle as a person. Like, I mean, some doms don't have a problem leaving you bloody. So, but some will. Some are like, oh, you know, that's not really, you know, something that I'm comfortable with, you know. So it's really as far as you want to go. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions for Shakira? This is good. I mean, like, we could keep you here all night, but I don't know.
And
Sorry, I heard financially exploiting, and I had to come running. So, is there anyone that you know?
Did you see? I'm like,
she's like, who? Do you have any names of anybody?
Yeah. Do you have anybody, like any contacts? Like,
I'll share with
them
you.
on Instagram. I'm being dead serious, so you guys could hee hee ha ha.
No. Seriously, Annalisa, like if you start a page like a separate page and use certain hashtags, they will literally come running. Like, because I never took my stuff off of Instagram. Everything was done on Instagram through chats and stuff. Now, for what I was able to do, I was able to hide my face and all that other stuff. But I was shocked at how much I was able to make with just only like 100, 200 followers. Like, that's crazy. Like 200 followers to make, you know, a couple $100 a day just doing nothing. Like, there'd be times I'd be sitting there. This was during the pandemic when we were doing nothing any damn way. So I'll be sitting there watching Netflix, and then I'll get a DM like, can you send me 5 pictures or 5 videos of your feet? You know, and they're very specific. They're like people who want their coffee, you know, like it's got to be a specific way. And if you're willing to do that, then you send them the pictures or the videos, and they, you know, I mean, of course they send the money first, and then you send, that's how it went. It was easy.
It's time for a new grift. So we're gonna have to connect because
Annalisa, you are built for that shit. I can believe it. You are built for that shit.
Listen,
I
have to start a new page like on YouTube. I can't do that. That's too much. On
Instagram and TikTok.
But you might have, the thing is, you make more money if you can find a way to make it private, because the dudes want that anonymity. They don't want to know the world to know what they're doing. If you meet them on the page and then take it off the page, it'll probably be a lot more lucrative for you.
So I do have a question that leads me to this question, Shakira. How does, let's just say, and I'm just saying, we're just having idle conversation. How does a woman get into that lifestyle? Is there such thing as a pimp for dominatrix, or is there a website? Where would a woman go if she's like, I want to beat a dude's ass for money?
Or agency?
Is there an agency?
So you would work at a dungeon, I guess, to get started. You would find out, like, you know, what dungeons are around. And some of them are not like very well hidden, to be honest with you. Some of them are, you know, are out there. And you can find out, you know, you can call them up and say, hey, do you need any dominatrixes, or, you know, are you hiring?
Oh,
you know,
wow.
That's what my character that did. She saw an ad in a paper, and she called and she said, are you hiring?
You can go to like not a swingers club, but like a sex club with a partner. And if you beat that partner in front of people, other people will sign up for you to beat them. They'll ask, is it okay if they get in on that? I guarantee you.
Wow. So would they take you if you're not like experienced? Let's say I'm coming in and I'm like, I just like beating on dudes.
Yeah, they would.
Part-time.
They would, but the thing about it is this. It's like if you want to start there, you can start there, but you don't want to be there. You don't want to work at a dungeon per se forever. I think you'd want to work for yourself at some point, you know, go
God is tough
out,
for you.
you know what I'm saying? See what it's all about and see if it's something you can do. You
So
know,
then you get like, so then you like kind of like wet your feet
once
at
you feel a little bit, yeah.
at the dungeon, and then you're like, I'm going out on my own. Now, do you take those clients? Would they get mad if you take those clients?
Oh, of course. Could you imagine if you took your boss's clients with you? Yeah. Yeah. So there's that tension. There's that tension there. And that's also another thing that's explored in the book.
So we have to read that book.
Are these places that you can just Google? Because I feel like these places are probably going to be like really inconspicuous. Like they're not.
I mean, I don't know all of the dungeons everywhere. I don't know how they market themselves, all of them. Some of them are not as inconspicuous as you might think. You know, some of them might be in the paper, in the back of the paper, you know, like some of them might be online. Some of them have websites.
And what I was going to suggest is when you use those hashtags, okay, for me, right, the men helped me. The guys who were the clients, because they're so into it, they'd be like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Right now, for me, I'd rather deal with another woman and have her school me, but the women weren't as friendly because I guess they looked at it as like competition or whatever. Yeah, so the men, it was the men who's told me, because this is their world. They've been doing this for a long time. So they'll give you the suggestions of where to go, where to start. And it was like two guys, it was like, this is what you need to post, this is how you need to post, because they told me all the little nuances that all of us will, unless we're into it, we were missed. There's so many little tiny nuances. And they taught me all of those things. It was just like a couple of guys, and you know, and I'll throw a couple of free pictures for the, you know, for the tea. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
And also, might I add that the book is more so a cautionary tale. It's not necessarily an endorsement, you know, of the lifestyle. I just want to say that because, you know, if you're online doing it, that's a lot safer versus being in person and doing it, you know. So I want to say, look at it as a cautionary tale. Yes, you can make fast money, but there are perils with making fast money, you know, and so you have to always keep those sort of things in mind, you know. How do you scale up? How do you make it, like any business, how do you scale up? How do you make it profitable? How do you make it safe? How do you make it long lasting? You have to treat it like a business, you know, but on your way, you know, if you really want to do this, you know, you have to really think about, you know, what you're subjecting yourself to. You know, is it worth it in the end? You know, obviously this is a work of fiction, but it's rooted in reality. You know, certain things did happen, you know, to these women that, and I don't know that his victims were specifically doms, but, you know, sometimes everyone gets lumped in, you know, and into thinking that, okay, well, they're all the same. Some people think that, you know what I mean? So, you know, just there's a lot involved here. So I won't say that this is an endorsement of the lifestyle. You know,
we're not endorsing anything here.
Jen, look under. I want you to Google ns-fw.com.
Well, I'm on there all the time. No, just kidding.
You are ns.fw.com.
NS what?
ns-fw.com.
You know, I was gonna say, Annalisa, in some of your questioning, there's a where you find the supportive components is where you can find a lot of access or information. So the supportive components are like certain sex stores that specialize in selling products. You'll find, you know, magazines and information and flyers for different events, and that's how we even started exploring for the film that we were working on, more information and contacting people, because there's always like there's events surrounded that, and that's when you can really start interacting with people. And then sometimes people make money that way, so they'll have a party and they'll sell their products around the party to you know, I did a film called Bears also that wasn't about that, but had that dominatrix component to it. And how they funded the film was they had a sex party, and they sold products, the supportive products around the party, and a whole bunch of people came, and that's how they made money. So that's another aspect.
Well, to be fair, I heard financial exploitation and foot pictures. So maybe going to the dungeon or party, that might be outside of my pay grade. But if men are looking to be exploited, or if they like toes,
so that's your specialty. That would be your specialty.
No, I've literally never done it. This is me kind of being hyperbolic as well, like, because this is as far as I'm willing to go with these conversations. But it's fun to think about. But I might truly consider it.
Have you slapped somebody yet?
More girl with an OnlyFans foot page.
Now, I will tell you this. This is the one cautionary tale that I can get. I figured I was doing the safest thing possible. I did do one mistake. So you know how, so I was doing the Instagram. So you know how if you have more than one account, you switch over and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I posted I posted something from TikTok, my regular TikTok, on my foot page, thinking it was my and so then literally I took it right down, right? And I mean, it hadn't been up there for like 60 seconds. Because when I tell you, these people hit notifications. Like when they follow you, they hit notifications. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All of them. And so I promise you, 10 minutes later, they were all on my real page. Like not all of them, but like a lot of them were on my real page. So that's the cautionary.
You got caught slipping. Rookie mistake.
It was
so
my
Jen,
fault.
did you go to that page that I sent you on? Did you go to that
yeah, I see
page?
It.
Okay.
What they do here? What do you try to set me? It's red and black too, like what I'm wearing.
I'll check it out later. Take it out later.
Okay. Shakira, you are mentioning the book is a cautionary tale. What are the cons, right? Because it's a lucrative business, but what are the cons, right? I'm sure it's not as dangerous as street walking, right? Streetwalkers, it can't be that dangerous. But what are the dangers that a dominatrix could face? Like, I would think it'd be scary to be alone in the room with one man while you're beating on him. Like, what if he changes mid beating or something and he's like, you know what I mean? I would think that aspect would be scary. You also spoke about doing it online. Is there such a thing as dominatrix online?
Like a webcam.
Yeah.
I'm sure those exist. Why not? It's not something that I explored in the book, but I'll say this. In the story, the main characters, there's a part of the story where they go into detail as to how, like, all the measures that they take to stay safe.
Okay. So I'll learn there. Okay.
So you have to buy the book and you'll know.
The book is bought.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any more questions for Shakira? So, like, these freaky people asking questions.
We are some freaks.
This is the last Freaky Friday of the year. So that is why you were doing this. And I'm so happy that you could join us today. I know it was last minute. So I was like, I was hoping. Creating Anarchy said, thanks, Dame, for that website. Look, Dame, pump us out to that website. I see you. It's like, I know some girls on YouTube. I'm going to send them over.
Right.
He's not denying it. Okay.
I'm not. I neither deny or
you can't confirm or deny.
Confirm or deny.
Shakira, so what do you want us to know about this book specifically? We already bought it, but what are we going to get out of this?
What are you going to get? You're going to get a really good story. It's a survival story. I think when you read it, you're going to really root for the women in the story. You want them to succeed. you're gonna laugh with them, you're gonna cry with them, you're gonna root for them, you're gonna be sad, but at the end of the day, it's a good story. And I feel like, it's a page turner. So you're gonna want to know what happens to them.
I did read one of your reviews, and someone did say that it's a page turner. I like page turners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love a good book.
Yes. Any more questions, Annalicia?
No, I'm just gonna look into sneaky foot lovers and financially men who are looking to be financially exploited.
If you have any questions, Annalisa, just hit me up on IG. And
I promise you I will.
Yeah, just hit me up on IG. I got you.
Lisa, have you slapped your man yet?
That's enough.
And Alicia, not yet? You haven't slapped him yet?
We had this conversation. It's not gonna happen.
Like, no, it's not gonna happen.
You wanna get into the dom, but you can't. You gotta slap a dude first. You gotta walk before you can run.
I'm thinking back. Have I slapped a guy? I'm sure I've slapped a guy.
Have you? You haven't. Because you slapped him because you were mad and you were arguing.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
in like.
Yeah, that's different. I've done that. How dare you? Shakira, you're more than welcome to hang out with us as we keep talking about this freaky stuff. I don't know how much time you have. It is up to you. You're always welcome on my panel to come up anytime, any day to talk about your book again. Also, please follow Shakira Ruiz on Instagram. It's important. We can't halfway support. Here is the book cover for anybody watching. If you're catching the replay, Amazon will still be open when you catch the replay. Shakira Ruiz, Pay for Play Dungeons and Dragons, based on true events. It is a page turner. I did read the reviews on Amazon, but also please follow on Instagram as well. Support that way. And also, if you don't mind, throw it up in your stories. Stories last 24 hours. We share everything else. Okay. So we can throw that up for 24 hours just to give a shout out, just to support the book. Okay. I
am Shakira Ruiz.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'd really, really appreciate that. Yes, it is that I bought the the audiobook. Is it an audiobook? Because I got the Kindle.
Yeah, not yet. That's gonna come later though.
Okay. Okay, Mark. So it's not on audio, but it is on
You gotta read, Mark.
It's on
the
Kindle.
audio book would be hot though.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
You got the voice for it, Shakira.
Oh wow, thank you.
You can't do
You got
audio
the voice for it. Definitely. You should be the one reading it.
Yeah, I would go to sleep. I can't do audiobooks. Every time I try audiobook, I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, I'm in a chapter.
I'm like that at movies though. I'm horrible.
I need the black and white text.
Yeah.
So rough sex. What's the difference, Shakira? Rough sex between BDSM or dominatrix. Is that considered BDSM?
Yes, that is part of the lifestyle. Yes.
Okay.
So well, firstly, it's not sex. It's everything that leads up to it. Yeah, so that's the main difference. It's not. And I think there are definitely couples who practice BDSM in their own bedrooms. They probably don't know that they are, Some people may practice breath play per se, or being spanked, or what's that?
What's breath play?
Like being choked.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had it done in a very long time, but it yes.
Yes.
Many years. Soon.
That's
Freaky Friday. It is Freaky Friday.
Man.
That's like, I don't know. That's like, I don't know. Just thinking about like someone like tapping into their Kundalini energy or whatever. That's more on that spiritual side though. when it comes to sex. Because actually I was looking at a documentary about that this morning. So that's funny that, that's what made me think about that. Because I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Also things like being tied up, because it stands for bondage, domination, sadism, masochism, sadism, masochism. So it tells different things, and these are components to somebody's sex life that's not necessarily exactly sex, but it enhances the experience. So, things like bondage again, rough play, some, again, like we said earlier, some men like to be pegged. Some people just like it rough, so that's really what it is.
And what are some of the, I know, I don't know if I finished my question, but I did get into it is a cautionary tale. What is some of like the politics, if you found out in your research, like between the women? Is it like strip joints where all the women are kind of like catty and they have certain clients? What are the dangers? Like, are the dangers a client could get too rough? A client can hurt the dominatrix?
Oh, absolutely. There are times, because again, there are things that are going on in the dungeons that, they want to keep it there. So if something happens that's out of line, no one is calling the police to say, oh, this guy came in and he choked me too hard, too long, or whatever, or, he tied me up and I didn't want him to. Like, no one is going to involve the police in something like that. So you kind of like at the mercy of the headmistress or whoever's running the dungeon to make sure that they're running it properly and keeping you safe. So it's like, do you want to give someone all that trust? Those are certain things that you have to really think about. And again, what did you want to say? Oh, okay. So pretty much, again, in the book, when they actually start to work for themselves, because you see the progression. The main character, she works at a dungeon first, and eventually she goes off on her own. And the reason why she goes off on her own is because she wasn't safe at the dungeon. But even going off on her own and making more money and becoming more independent, she still wasn't fully safe. So again, it's a cautionary tale, but you see her growth through it as she becomes like a businesswoman, in that whole business. So there's definitely times where, like, again, like I said, you're not, they have to really think about their protection and their safety. So they come against a lot of that,
I did
Men
have
can
a
get real
question.
possessive, for real. They can get possessive and feel like they got more of a connection or a relationship with you than what they actually have. And
Yeah,
that's where I think it could get dangerous for women, just like with strippers. They could sit there and be like, wait, I just gave you $5,000 just pay for your boob job, and you won't even have dinner with me, and then it can go left real quick. So
I didn't think about that one.
I wanted to know whether or not, in your experience or anyone else's experience, whether or not do you find that there's a theme or an archetype for some of the more dangerous or deprived clients? Like, are they more conservative men, affluent men, folky?
That's a good question. I don't know that necessarily there's a theme with the men itself, but there's definitely a theme in what they ask for. So, like in the book, the girls, they don't really participate in extreme BDSM sessions because they don't want that type of clientele. It's just a certain traffic that they don't want. So when you read the book, you get to know that. But yeah, absolutely. I think it depends on what the request is, because some stuff, again, like with the bloodletting, fake embalming sessions, like it can get really mental. You know what I mean? Like,
what's that? I'm just curious.
Wait, what is that?
Mandatory?
What is that? That's like literally pretending to be a corpse and that you're getting embalmed, and so it's it can get pretty
depravity of the highest order.
Yeah. So that's why I want to say each dom has her own niche. Like you know, you want to do the financial exploitation. You know what I mean? And it's funny, but yeah, you have to kind of know what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. But I think a lot of times too, some women probably, you know, in a dry season, they may do something that they normally wouldn't do. You know, they may.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's a slippery slope. I feel like I think in a lot of kind of high risk occupations, there are fine lines, and it's a very slippery slope that can kind of change the course of a person's life or the direction that they're trying to go in. Even if they only did it for like a season, I think the risk to reward ratio is something that they probably have to be more mindful of.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And even for the girls in the book, they diversify their business, right? Because they really do treat it as a business. And when they scale and they as they grow, they learn what works and what doesn't work. You know, what can invite more trouble and what doesn't. You know, so they learn these things as they go along. And I think anyone in that business, they have to be aware of like the perils in each. I mean, whether you're like a webcam dom, whether you're doing it in person, whether you've known a client for years, do you want to really give them your back? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really know them. You just know them inside of their scene and their fantasy. But do you really know them? You know? So the thing about it is always staying on like your P's and Q's, you know, like you don't want to get too comfortable, even if even if you have some reference point with the clients that you're servicing, you know?
I have a question. You said something. You said there's certain things that they won't do because they don't want to attract a certain type of client.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that look like? Because I know in every industry it's like that, especially if you're a business owner. You're like, oh, nope, can't do that no more. I don't want to service these people because they bring this type of energy or this type of whatever. What would that look like for the dominatrix like that? Like, because
specifically, like, okay, so those scenes that I spoke about, the bloodletting,
yeah,
might suggest something mentally is wrong with the client. The fantasy itself, there's something wrong with it. Certain clients are like, they're into certain fetishes that are kind of gross, you know, on the gross end. Like you have to really like, I think for them, they really have to say, they really have to say, well, what does this suggest about the person that's coming to them? You know, at the end of the day, maybe something, you know, mild is okay, but maybe if someone wants to be humiliated and verbally, you know, insulted and slapped around or spat at, and, you know, depending on how bad it is, you have to say, well, what does that suggest? Or if it's something playful, maybe they just want to be cross-dressed, whatever, you know, okay, I can do that. Maybe that person is on this wavelength, and that's okay. That's enough for me. That's good enough. But if they're on that wavelength, then maybe no, because, you know, I'm only 5'2" and, you know, 120 pounds. So maybe that doesn't make sense for me to be in a room with a grown man that, you know, who could overpower me. You know?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, that's.
So you have to draw those, and then also security. They talk about security because when they work for themselves, they're working, again, like, I know the term dungeon sounds really, really scary, I think, to some people, but it's really not necessarily a scary scenario. It's just an apartment, you know, and it's decorated a certain way. But when they start working for themselves, they're working in a doorman building where there's security downstairs, where there are cameras everywhere. So then it's like they're taking their risk because, all right, if a client is willing to come to them, be seen, their face is seen by the doorman and possibly on a security camera, what are the chances of them really turning up once they get upstairs? You know what I mean? So there's other factors to consider. You have to filter them and make sure that every step of the way you're staying as safe as you can, you know?
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Do you find that there are racial clusters or like in circulating different tribes of group in kind of a racial component?
I think so. I think the Caucasian doms make more money. I'll say that.
Of course.
I'll say that they make more money.
Yeah.
Why do you think they make more money?
I think they make more money because maybe in that demographic, it seems like it's more popular. Even though many times men who are affluent or whatever, whoever come and visit, they want something different too. But sometimes that's not always the case. They want something different, but with someone they have some sort of reference point with, you know? Maybe she looks like my wife, but she'll do things that my wife won't do. That's sort of.
Or they may not want their wife to do because of the respect level. Because I think we talked about this at one point on this week. I think I brought up like some men would be like, "Oh, I'm freaky," but they don't want to do certain things with their wife because of the respect level.
And
that's
Or because they have like a weird whore Madonna complex. Sometimes it's like respect. A lot of times it's the whore Madonna complex.
Yeah, they gotta view their wives in a certain light. They don't want to view their wife. They don't want to be like, yeah, I can't pee on my wife's face, you know, just because she gotta be, you know, I can't, you know, that kind of stuff, because they gotta see them in a certain light.
She gotta raise IQ.
She gotta go kiss my kids tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I see that. I can see that.
So the embalming is pretty. That's pretty out there. The embalming. I thought I heard it all. I've heard a lot. I've seen a lot. What's worse than that? Because you said some things are like really icky. Like, what have you heard of that's worse than embalming?
You know what she's talking about, Jen.
Dubai.
I'm talking about shit.
Dubai.
But I've heard of that. I'm
porta potties.
I've heard of. I've heard of the poop. I've heard of the peeing, but what embalming is pretty strange.
That one, yeah.
Is there anything else that we haven't heard of that we would be surprised?
It's like stepping on men's balls and all that kind of stuff like that.
Ball busting. Because again, some men are really, really turned on by the pain.
But I thought it was the worst pain in the world.
No, what I'm the crushing people the crushing people when I would do the foot page, that's serious. Like that pressure and that pain, like they want you to crush their face, their balls, their like just them, period. Like them as a person, they want to be crushed. Like they literally have like fantasies about being like ran over by a car, like run the car over me, run it back over. Like it
makes them feel something, because a lot of people feel like numb to what's going on in the world. They're feeling numb, and it makes them feel something. They actually feel something. They associate pain with something as opposed to feeling nothing, because they're not getting pleasure.
That's a brain chemistry thing, right? Like that's absolutely a difference in your neurology.
Or it could be like you could have some kind of traumatic stuff that happened to you growing up, to where you come numb to normal feelings. Yeah. Right? So there's a lot of dudes that if they want that, if they go to that lengths, there has to be some kind of numbness to the world, to where, because the one thing we've been as men taught to do our whole life is protect our balls, and then here you are exposing them, and not only just exposing them, but you're letting somebody hurt them and damage them. There's definitely some kind of psychosis, something that's going on in your mind.
So that's also too related to what Lily said. It's called a trampling session, right? And sometimes too, they'll want you to do it with your high heels on.
Yes.
Walk up and down their body, with the heels on.
I told y'all step on me. Y'all thought I was kidding. I told you.
But those are the ones you got to watch out for. I think that those are the ones who are that if they really want pain, if pain is something, those are the ones they might have it in where inflicting pain is not a thing to them either. It could be they could have some weird thing with pain where you hurt them and they get this rush of adrenaline, and then they gotta they got to get it out somehow. So I think a
Those
lot of
people
cats
scare me.
Isn't that what
It sounds like a football player.
And
That's
I'm
what
gonna tell
sounds
you why
like.
sounds
they
like a
scare.
psychopath.
And that's right. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna tell you why I feel like they're psychopaths, because of what you just said. That this is the other side of this, and because I'm like, Annalisa, I'm like, I go from like running a foot page to I want to be their therapist. Like I want to get in their head. Like what the fuck is going on? Like tell me where was your mama? Like what was going? Like just did your sister steal your candy? Like what's going on? So I would kind of like give them what they want, but I would kind of try to get a little psychological with them too. And so they'll go from that, right? But because I was doing it online, I lied to you. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. They'd be like, I need you to go outside and no, they wouldn't even say outside. They're just like, I need you to step on some ants. I'm like, where the fuck am I getting ants from? It's December in New York City. There's no ants running around, right? What? And so then they'd be like, well, what I'm about to say, I really think I'm like, I can't make this up. Then they'd be like, why don't you just go to a pet store and get a gerbil and step on it? Like, and so then I was like, hold on, I need to read up and see what's behind this. So then I would read up and then I think this is what I told you all, like they would go from it. If you do that, right? Say if you do the gerbil, then they're gonna say go get a bunny rabbit, and if you get a bunny rabbit, then they're gonna say get a cat. Like it's gonna go on, and that's what. Yeah.
Oh no, they need to be locked up.
This is kind of that's kind of my exact concern with this. Because the thing about your brain is, the more you do something, the more you need it. If you want to get the same response, right? That's just the nature of the brain, especially when it comes to dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
If you get that dopamine hit and it feels good, you have to up the ante if you want to continue to get that hit of dopamine. And people like that, their brains are wired differently. It's not a matter of some people do have a high pain threshold. Like some people truly do. But this type of person, it's not about threshold. It's about deriving pleasure from giving pain or from seeing pain being inflicted on others. Like that's a different kind of problem. Would you say that this is something that you see like sort of pervasively in this world? Is it like that type of mind pathology maybe? Like where the escalation, it's really hard to manage?
Well, it never stays the same. So in that world, like when you get a client, what you ask them is what is their scene? So their scene is like their fantasy, right? But it never stays the same. It never stays at one level. It always progresses. Even like, okay, so let's just take the thing, you mentioned poop, right? Poop. So let's talk about it. Sometimes some clients, may want it done. They may want the dom to do it on a certain part of their body, and it'll progress to another certain part of their body, and then it'll progress to consumption. It's not, which is gross, but
wait, sorry, what's conception? What do you mean conception?
Eating it.
Yeah.
Eating it.
Like
They say R. Kelly was really
Google
into that.
Peter Nygard or
R.
John
Kelly
McAfee.
Probably was.
R. Kelly too. Yeah.
John McAfee and Peter Nygard. They had a whole island where they would have the native women come and poop on them.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
Mind you, I had a bowl of food in my hand.
The girls that R. Kelly messed with, they said that he would make them eat it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So he
I
was
don't want this no more.
of a master than a sub, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was definitely a master. That's why. Yeah, he was definitely he controlled every aspect of it. Like
your life.
He would have other women teach new women how to pleasure him. Like this is what he needs, what you need to wear. This is how much you need to weigh. This is how much what you gotta smell, taste like, smell like, whatever to pleasure him.
I feel like it's important to probably make differentiations or like understand the differences in delineations, because that to me is a cult. It's not mutually beneficial. It's exploitative and predatory in nature. Whereas people engaging, because I don't want to demonize people engaging in BDSM. I think that there are definitely experiences that are mutually beneficial where, you know, everybody could win. There are caveats. There are levels to it, and probably to a point it becomes dangerous or exploitative. But that is criminal, what he did. Whereas people probably engaging in that lifestyle or in that world, probably you have outliers, probably not even outliers. It probably happens a lot, but I still think that there are people who engage in this.
The criminality on him he only got the criminality. Only thing he did was he did it with women who weren't of age. In some cases, 17, 16. If all these women would have been over the age of 18, he'd have broken no laws.
Well, except for one though, right? Because
it's absolutely true. He didn't force anybody to do anything. He didn't held anybody at gunpoint, or he didn't like. There was no kidnapping or whatever.
But there were kidnappings.
Well, that's what the family said.
No, I feel like
some of
them.
No, some of the women said that he would hold them against their will, and
he would subject them to depraved and unlivable conditions. There's a charge to be laid for that degenerate. Absolutely, underage or otherwise. He's a degenerate. He's a depraved degenerate.
Absolutely.
It's good that he's locked up.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree on that,
right?
Just like Andrew Tate, slap yourself in jail, fool.
So, actually, guys, we're gonna close. We are over the 2-hour mark. Are there any more questions for Shakira while she's here? Also, please follow on Instagram. Okay.
That's good, yeah.
Follow Instagram, buy the book. More importantly, leave a comment, a review on Amazon. Thank you so much for supporting, guys. I know a couple of you bought it.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Jen, for inviting me to your platform and having such a mature conversation about this whole topic, you know, because sometimes it's, you know, not with everyone can you be so open-minded and, you know, and discuss it from an objective point of view. So I appreciate that. And again, thank you for sharing your platform with me. And thank you to everyone who bought the book.
I came in late.
You caught it on a good night. It can really devolve into some childish shit.
And I like that. I really like that. I came in very late, but I appreciate your contribution because it's very important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I love people to feel empowered and sexually free. Yep.
Absolutely. This is a safe space. Now we've had to kick some people off, but we always we hold it down here.
It's safe if you're not a degenerate Black man.
There you
go. Here we
I
go.
feel like that's fair.
What time is it? That train is never late to the station.
I was about to say this close. This close.
Let everyone their voice.
All aboard the Black Man Ain't Shit Express.
That's why this is the best show on YouTube, because everyone has a freaking voice.
And they're all different. We all think very, very different. We all think different. All right, guys. So that is it for tonight. Thank you for joining me for the last Freaky Friday of 2022. You guys know I love you all. Happy New Year. If I don't see you tomorrow, I don't think I'm gonna camp up tomorrow. I may be, you know what I mean?
I won't be there.
Around who's up. But stay safe tomorrow. Have an amazing, abundant, and prosperous new year. Love on your family and your friends. And if you ain't got family and friends, love on your damn self, because no love feels better than that shit. Okay?
Wait, tomorrow's New Year's? Tomorrow's the 1st?
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Oh, you're not going live? I thought you were going.
I'm gonna surf around. If I see people on, I'll jump on live because I'm gonna be home. I'm not going to party. I'll be home. So I'll jump on. I'll creep around. You know, I'll see what's popping. I may come back.
Just let me know.
I'll let all of you know if I come back on it. I'll throw it in my community page.
Yeah, because I'll be home as well.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be home. What's going
Yeah, I'm
on?
not messing with them crazies tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the last one. Everybody gonna go to sleep early. Yeah, that's what's gonna
Listen,
happen.
I just got a feeling something's telling me to stay home. To be honest, something says stay home.
Then stay home. Then I'm gonna come on tomorrow. If everybody's gonna be home, I'm giving y'all the day off tomorrow because I'm thinking y'all gonna go party.
That's why I was asking you. Everyone's going to be home. Like, you're not talking to 18-year-olds.
Right. We've been there, done that.
Been there, done that. And even when I was, actually, I didn't. But who wants to?
Don't play with me because I'll bring in the new year. I have a bottle of champagne in the fridge. I'll pop it right here.
Oh no,
I got some apple cider.
I will pop it right here. All right, guys. So I'll come in tomorrow. You throw something in the community page, and we can come and kick it and talk about resolution.
Oh, let's have a debate. Come on, make it.
You want to have a debate? You want to have an Andrew Tate debate?
Who likes Andrew Tate? Hold on, wait a minute. Un momento, por favor. Who likes Andrew Tate on this panel? Put your degenerate hand up so that I can identify you.
Chat.
See, I love how Anna sits there and says whoever supports Andrew Tate, it doesn't matter if you have a penis and you're on this panel. She's gonna steamroll you. Except me.
Who likes Andrew Tate? Just put your pinky up.
I don't think anybody likes.
I don't think nobody put their pinky up, so you got your answer.
She's gonna steamroll you, Dame. I'm telling you.
I'll find something spicy.
Why you gonna steamroll me? What'd I do?
Yeah, let's talk about Andrew Tate for real.
Why?
Yeah,
He's in jail. Let him rot. Let's talk about something we can all enjoy.
Thank you again.
All right, thank you, Miss Shakira.
Okay, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Who doesn't enjoy a good dragging? What do you